Hello.
Yo. How's it going?
Good, good.
Nice.
What about you?
I'm good, yeah. Decided to cast some games. I thought I was gonna cast yesterday, but they moved the games, so
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, I thought so too initially. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
yeah.
only ever checked Team Liquid, and on Team Liquid it said
Yeah,
it's gonna be
they
live in 1 hour. So I hurried up in the gym, and then I came back, and it was the tournament.
they only told the players, I think.
Okay.
Do you want to do the stream together thing?
Yes.
Let me knock. Okay. I think I sent you the thing. You should see on your dashboard or something.
Okay, I accepted it.
Sweet.
Muted. Okay, perfect.
Okay, just mute it. You want to share chat?
Yes.
Sweet. Beautiful. Sorted. Alright, some ZVZ. Start the day. A couple great matchups for you to start the day with. A couple of interesting ones. This one especially I think is very interesting for you. To your buddies. ZVZ. As we have Reynor and Serral. What are you thinking? I know these guys, they played the other day, right? And Serral got the better of him in Masters Coliseum.
Yep. Serral played against Reynor in Masters Coliseum round of 4 lower bracket, that was. But Reynor played 2 games of Protoss, and I know he hasn't played Protoss at all, so those games were very one-sided, and then in ZVZ they went 1 and 2, basically.
Okay.
Reynor won 1 game, Serral beat him with a cheeky strategy, and then a more normal game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't actually see, so I didn't realize he played some Protoss. That, like I say, like you say, is kind of a bit surprising because I haven't really seen him play much Protoss at all. So yeah, so 1 and 2 in CVZ kind of feels like then this is a very open best of 5. Definitely potential to go either way.
Yes, for sure. I would favor Serral, not just because he just won Masters Coliseum. I know he has practiced way more than Reynor because he obviously wanted to win the Masters Coliseum. Every single time there will be a tournament, you can be sure that Serral is going to practice a bunch because he's very competitive. He doesn't want to lose. I think that's what motivates him the most. Whereas Reynor is also very motivated usually by tournaments, but I know he's currently a little bit more motivated about getting into Challenger in League of Legends, so he's played a bit less Starcraft and a bit more League. I think purely because of that, I will give Serral the slight edge. Has to be said though that he will not have practiced at all against Zerg, because I am not playing currently since there's nothing for me to play for. I know Elazu is playing a bit, but Elazu will not want to practice ZVZ. Elazu will practice for a Polish LAN. So yeah, Serral has no practice at all in ZVZ, but mechanically he should be a bit better currently than Reynor. So I'd give him the slight edge.
Okay, so interesting kind of setup where Serral maybe, like you say, would have practiced more, but then he necessarily hasn't been able to. And well, the series gets off to a fun start. Neon Violet Square is already kind of a big map, right? So Overlords take a little while to get in position. You've got a back base you can take as well, or not take. And in Reynor's case, he's just going to completely skip link speed, go straight to that lair, and just move into a lot of his kind of future tech in this game right from the very get-go.
Yeah. I'm checking every single camera and everybody's on this Overlord for the past half a minute.
Oh,
it's actually hilarious.
Are you not, are you following it? Because I'm on 5 of it.
I was following Indie, yeah.
Oh, really?
Or maybe it was just back then, if you were not on that one Overlord.
Sometimes it's, sometimes it, like, gets stuck on something you followed at one point, and you have to, like, escape out of it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I was just stuck on Overlord because of myself.
I do this all the time where I'm just like, man, no one's observing it today. It's like, nope, I'm actually just following this Zergling that's AFK.
Okay, well that's news to me. Yeah, so Serral went for 3H before pool. The one thing that makes this map very wild in ZVZ is that you cannot know if your opponent took that back base or not, because Overlord arrives very late. Usually you can see the extra drones that are on the natural for it being a gasless or a 3H opener. You cannot, though, because of how large this map, see it in time. So Serral went 3H before pool, he's going into Aspire. Reynor went 2 base, also is going into Aspire. I would generally tend to favor the 3H player there, because he should have more gas. All depends on how much Reynor's Miras will get done initially.
Yep. Well, we'll see if he can get off to a solid start with those Mutalisks, as we do have just another hatchery coming down from Serral, so he's going to take full advantage of this game, which is just in a state where you can kind of just throw another hatch down. There's no link speed, there's no threat coming your way, so take advantage of that. And yes, initially you will fall behind on the meters, but as you say, you're mining a bit more gas, and so you should be able to get yourself into a better Mutalisk count eventually. Just depends how much Reynor does with this Mutalisk rush.
Yep. He scouted the Spire of Reynor as well, and Reynor I think has no idea. No, Reynor scouted the fort base, so from Reynor's POV, he has no clue what's happening. It's important for him that he's actually committing to the Mutas, but he starting up +1 attack, and that's not what you want in Muta versus Muta. You would much rather have +1 Carapace, as that affects basically 3 Mutas whenever 1 Muta attacks. And yeah, the biggest advantage that Serral will have is that he will have more Larva and he will have more mineral income, so he's just gonna have way more Zerglings than his opponent, which means it will be hard for Reynor to take the map control, and Reynor doesn't know it's Muta versus Muta, otherwise he would have never taken this gold base.
Yep, Ling's gonna show up there immediately. That's an instant cancel. Drone goes down as well, so that's Reynor being kept away from a 4th. And as the Mutalisks come up here from Serral, he is just gonna start. I mean, he's already built an 11-12, so he's already gonna have more Mutas than his opponents. And yeah, Reynor's gonna have that melee upgrade, but Mutas are gonna be just the all-important factor here, and these Lings even gonna get through for a few drones, pull all these Mutas away, so just really minimizing any damage they might get done, getting drone kills at the same time, good target finding a couple of low HP drones that were at the front there as well, and even gets a few Lings out. And Serral getting off to a fantastic start in this game 1.
Yeah, really good start for Serral. I think Reynor's best chance will be lying on this +1 melee upgrade, because that's the only advantage that he's gonna have in a little bit from now, since he will get way outmined, but +1 melee can be deceivingly strong in Muta versus Muta, where your Zerglings will win the trade, you can counter-attack while the other guy is starting to attack. Reynor now confirms that it is Muta versus Muta, and that's a bad sign for him, because I'm pretty sure he knows he's behind at this point.
Yeah. Knowing that is not going to do any favors. Also, that Carapace upgrade is going to do a little better than the attack upgrade, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, just Serral having that information, and the build definitely going in his favor is going to put him in a good spot, and Reynor will just have to try and find ways back in, but so far the defense is good, so will not leave many openings. There's a little Ling run by. We're about to hit the melee upgrade right now, outnumbered, but maybe the melee Lings can do something in this game to help Reynor out, because he definitely needs something, and that's the best shot he's probably got.
Yeah, he's also trying to still take the gold base. I think he retook that even before he realized it was Muta versus Muta, because that one will be super exposed, but that's another thing that he might have going for himself, that he can maybe even out the mineral income, but already he's down 6 workers. He will lose even more economy if he tries to slide workers towards that base, since it's very far away. So yeah, I'm expecting Serral to be up 30 supply, and then Serral should be the one that's on the aggressive. And Reynor really needs to watch out with those Mutas. That was very close. If Serral wanted to, I think he could have intercepted them, if he was a little bit more confident.
Yeah. A lot of caution necessary, as Serral is sitting at, what, 28, 30 Mutalisks to the 24. And he is going to be finding a few Zerglings in the middle of the map too, so shutting down that potential Ling attack. Bane Nest already coming up from Reynor. I mean, obviously that's kind of interesting, because that means you're spending some gas on something that isn't Mutas. So he's kind of signed up to be pretty committed with some Ling Bane, right?
Yeah, I don't mind that whatsoever. I think the best way you can come back in Muta versus Muta is you make spores and then you win with a counterattack of Ling Bane, and you try to somehow survive on your own side.
Okay.
Otherwise, there are very little things that you can do, because the other guy will simply have more than you, and that's Muta versus Muta fights especially snowball like crazy. A little bit similar to Phoenix versus Phoenix.
So yeah, doing the same thing as the opponent but worse is obviously just not worth it. So take the risk, play a bit defensive, and then hope that the Ling Bane can carry you through. That's the plan, but Reynor loses 5 more drones. He's got Lings in the natural as well. That's going to get cleaned up pretty easily, but Serral is being very aggressive with these Mutas and just consistently positioning, looking to try and find a fight. And he is going to jump onto some of the Mutas here, so he's going to decide to take this fight. He is +1 Carapace to +1 attack for the moment. But Reynor's just now going to finish that upgrade. Some Lings getting in underneath to try and share some glaive bounces. And as the Mutalisks of Serral continue to do their thing, 30 to 11 is the number right now. It's going to be very one-sided, and Reynor never gets a chance to employ the counter-attacking strategy. Serral takes game 1.
Yep, that was a very build order based though. Nothing to be too worried about if you're a Reynor fan. He didn't play poor or anything. It's just he tried to play a 2-base Muta super quick, and Serral just opened with 3 hatch. Reynor didn't even know what he was up against for most of that game. So yeah, not much he could have done there.
Yep.
If I'm being entirely honest. Also, in case it sounds confusing, just to explain why the +1 Carapace is better. The attack upgrade, it affects the initial attack of the Muta. I think you would have 9 instead of 8 damage. And then, but the way the Muta attack works is it bounces off twice, the glaives. So I think the first target it deals like maybe 8 damage initially, and then the second one maybe 5 or 3 or something, and the third hit will be 1. which means that with a carapace upgrade, every single one of those hits will be -1. So you take 1 less damage for every single one of those hits. So it's basically 3 times as good as the attack upgrade, especially the first one.
Yep, pretty nasty kind of difference. It's definitely decided a couple of Muta versus Muta games over the course of Starcraft 2 where one guy just didn't know, so he goes for the wrong upgrade, and it does actually look pretty comparable. As the players are calling to go into Abyssal Reef map number 2, with Serral taking that 1-0 lead here in the winner bracket quarter-finals of the Liuli Cup. First match of the playoffs. There's a whole bunch of good matches coming up today in the playoffs in general.
For sure, yeah. I'm excited for all of them, even the TVPs. I'm glad we don't have a single mirror matchup that isn't ZVZ. those are the ones that I don't like too much. Also, ZVZ is super rare these days, so...
I know, ZVZ, like, you don't see it enough to be able to complain about it anymore. Like, if you see ZVZ, it's like a blessing. So yeah. Oh, I've casted enough PvPs lately, man. I feel like everything's got PvP in it lately.
It does, but this tournament, I think it looks good for it to not have PvPs.
Yeah.
For the upper bracket, at least.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Should be pretty cool. As we get into game 2, Abyssal Reef. Bottom right, our blue Zerg player down a game. Trying to bounce back is Reynor.
And his opponent top left, it is Serral. Reynor didn't even go for the 15 Overlord. I sometimes have these games as well. I went on vacation and I came back the first time I played Starcraft again. I went for a 13 Overlord by accident. But yeah, it's a bit worse. You can see at the bottom already, Serral being up a bit in the minerals, even though he has the worst spawn. Theoretically, bottom spawns are better for Zerg because the larva spawns right next to the mineral line, so the drones are quicker to arrive at the minerals. Obviously, all of this doesn't matter way too much. Like, we're really talking about very few minerals that you start gaining a little bit sooner. But theoretically, the most optimal, as we've learned, is the 15 Overlord. All Zergs have been doing it wrong for the entire history of Legacy of the Void.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
It's just, like, it's like, hey, the thing we had the most figured out, it's not right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Makes you wonder what else you've been doing wrong.
It really does. I think there's one thing that Protoss players can improve, and that is in PvP, they can delay their chrono boost after the first pylon is done by just less than a second, and then they can take the gas 1 probe earlier without being blocked on the probes. I think especially if you get good at worker splitting and worker microing initially, I think this is just better. And you can almost do it, like I think I tried it and I could do it even without delaying the chrono boost. If my worker split is legit perfect and I micro my workers very well, but even without that, if you delay your chrono boost a little bit, I think this is more efficient. You gain like 12 gas or something. It's definitely not bad whatsoever. I told Harsum about it already.
It's really kind of wild how precise and just figured out you can make things in this game. The beauty of Starcraft 2. That's why we love it so much.
100%.
So this game we get Link Speed versus Link Speed, so much more kind of, quotation marks, normal ZVZ to begin with at least. We'll see most likely both of these guys trying to take a third hatchery soon, and from there we see if anyone wants to put any link pressure on and play some back and forth Ling Bane, or if there's other plans on the table for these guys on what is a sizable map in Abyssal Reef, right? There's a lot of pathways to run around on. It's a decently sized map, so do you think that pushes these guys into one kind of playstyle or another?
Yeah, I think this will be probably the most likely map to go into a normal Roach versus Roach mid game, because it's a very good map defensively. It's also probably the worst map for Muta. You can simply wall your natural ramp, and then you can just defend, put all your units at your 3rd and 4th base. So it's the worst map for Muta. It's also a hard map to attack upon, even though the rush distance from natural to natural is not as big. You can't really attack there because of how small that ramp is. So you have to go all the way towards the 3rd base of your opponent. So yeah, if I had to predict one game where we would see a more normal macro game, it would be this one. The one game where Reynor won in the Masters Colosseum when both of these faced up against each other started with a lot of Ling Bane back and forth. I think that is the one place where I would say that Reynor still has the edge over Serral, because he's really, really fast in those scrappy situations where you do a lot with just a mouse. And I really do think that that's Reynor's biggest strong suit, but this is also not the best map for those type of build. So yeah, we can see both players just droning up and trying to scout so far.
Yep, drones, couple of things, nothing too major. Evolution Chamber even finishing from Reynor, so you can look towards an upgrade. He's going to play the Carapace right from the start here, while Serral will just prioritize heading into the Roach Warren. So Roach Warren starts with an Extractor on the way, a few drones, and an Overlord coming up along with it. And we get ourselves settling down. I mean, there's a Roach Warren from Reynor expected. He's going to play Carapace because he wanted that Carapace upgrade to affect Lings and Roaches. Potentially open some timings for you as well. While Serral just goes full Roach Commitment Lair. Evo Chamber Roach Warren is mentioned a little bit sooner as well. He'll be on the way with that very shortly as he tries to get scan information, but the wall is good. All he gets to see is a third hatchery.
Yeah, so I think Reynor is going to all in, and he's going to try to delay it for as much as possible. Obviously, with that Carapace, it's just going to finish very late. I'm fully assuming that Reynor is going to pull more and more workers towards the third base to make it harder for Serral to scout that this is in fact an all-in. But Serral went for a very, very late +1 missile, which is good against these +1 Carapace builds. Usually in the early game of Roach versus Roach, delaying your upgrade is good against Carapace, Carapace is good against Missile, and Missile is good against people that delay their upgrades. You can still win from every position against everything, realistically. But yeah. I mean, Serral is going straight to 66 workers. I don't respect these all-ins anymore very much, and this is not the greatest map to do it on. But if there was a game for it to work, it would be now, because Reynor has managed to trick Serral into over-droning for sure. He went 67 drones. He started Overlord speed. He started an Overseer. He started a fort base. And all of that is not going to help him. We'll see if he can still manage to hold it. I think it might not be impossible.
Well, a couple of Banes coming up. His first Roach is coming through. As we do take the long way around here, Reynor has to go all the way around and then up that ramp if that's the direction he wants to attack in. Well, I've seen a ton of Banelings. That's where a few defensive Banelings of Serral could go a long way, so we'll see if he can get some good connections. He'll be down the Carapace upgrade as well. He is building 5, now 6 Spine Crawls. He's taking this extremely seriously. He's obviously, like you say, being so greedy that if he does just survive, he should be fine, as he deals with the first Baneling pretty well here. Reynor running through, Carapace helping to tank a couple of Baneling shots. Serral trying to find the other Banes, but they are going to split live. Now a lot of these Banes move forward. Spine Crawls are getting up, though, and that is a lot of Spines.
That is a lot of spines, a lot of them also at the back, so they're not necessarily helping already. Serral still needs to kite towards them. The right side fight is going very, very well for Reynor, because none of the spines are in range against those units. The +1 missile will not help as much because of the +1 Carapace of Reynor, and looks like a good initial engagement. Now the first drones are starting to go down, but this is not enough damage yet. Reynor still needs to completely overwhelm the army of Serral, and I'm not sure he has the units to do it. Now Roach speed is also done, which helps a lot with getting these Roaches into the fight, but also escaping from the Lynx rounds, and I think Serral has done it.
Yeah, chasing down Ravages, so you can't pile down those Spine Crawlers anymore, and Serral will net himself a 2-0 lead in this best of 5 as he finds himself. The hold, the defense, I mean, overly greedy, built a lot of Spines, but he needed most of them, right? Because he lost a couple. Even when some got piled down, he had another Spine to then buy a bit more time, and it's all about getting that Roach speed finished. You know, his own upgrade coming online helps a little bit, and just mostly having the chance to build units as well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think this is just not a good map to attack upon. You could see how large the rush distance actually becomes when he has to do that little S going up the ramp, or even going all the way towards the left side, which I would think is even quicker, so I'm a little bit surprised he took that path. But yeah, I think he managed to trick him there, and it still didn't work, so that's a fierce Batman for Reynor, but I think this was just not the map to do it on. If it doesn't work in this scenario, as I said, it would never work, and yeah, I think these +1 Carapace ones are not that strong anymore.
A little bit figured out. I just remembered when Serral was first kind of being dominant, I always thought it was so impressive, because one of the things that set him apart was like his ability to defend scenarios like that while being what felt like always behind on numbers, and then he pulls it out, and it feels like over the years they've really figured out, the Zergs, how to craft defenses from those sort of positions and get the micro needed and to buy enough time.
Yeah.
It's tough nowadays.
Back then it was even a little bit harder because, well, maps tended to be shorter, and also Serral played, because of that, played like with more of a helmet. Serral would only drone when he sees the exact same amount of drones from his opponent. Back then he used to be way better than us, so even if he's always like a round of drones behind us, he still is completely fine in the normal game. Nowadays he can't really do that anymore, but nowadays also the early game is, as you said, a little bit more figured out on how to hold these types of attacks perfectly. He's done it 100 times at least at this point, so he knew exactly the steps to take.
Yeah, hundreds and hundreds, I would say, probably, at this stage.
Yeah, for sure.
As we have then down 2 games and needing to bounce back, needs a map win now, otherwise this first series ends rather quickly. Our blue Zerg is Reynor.
And his opponent in the bottom left, once again going for that 15 Overlord. It's Basilisk's Serral.
Looking to move through to the upper bracket semis if you win this here. You're on a pretty tough section of the bracket, obviously. Maxpax or Dark will await you in that round of 4. That matchup is coming up next as well, so yeah, fun section of the bracket, and obviously this tournament does just play out over the next 5 days, so if you are excited about that, keep on tuning in. The next few days are going to be great.
Yep. This entire week, right? Every single day.
Every single day,
there's going to be some high-level Starcraft action.
Yep. So yeah, every single day, starting at the same time. It's going to be fun. And then we finally are done with these Chinese tournaments. They've been kind of dominating for the last month and a half. And then they're going to be done, so we'll see what else comes in February.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even sure if the word finally is good, because so far nothing is announced, right? Nothing big is announced.
No, yeah.
After that.
Yeah, I don't mean it like that. I just
Yeah, I know.
been cast in the same tournament for like a month and a half, I feel like. You know, I know I say this as though I'm like, finally the next thing, but you're right. There's not necessarily much going on. So yeah, hopefully we get some information on something soon. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed for sure.
Overlord's going. Obviously, just very normal first couple of minutes. Hatcheries will finish and we'll start to see our queens and everything coming online. We can start to see where the players will take us in terms of direction in this game. If anyone's going to be cheeky early, or if we're just going to kind of follow the script through to the 3 hatcheries and the Ling Bane aggression.
Reynor forgot his Overlord, I think. He's going to be supply blocked. He either needs to go for like a 28 hatchery now. Or, I mean, or he's just going to have a small supply block. I think it's just going to be the small supply block. Oh, he moves out and he wants to take the bottom base. That's also very interesting. I've seen him take it a couple of times already. In all the other matchups. In the other matchups, I could maybe see some reasons. In this one, this just makes the hatchery less safe. And unless you want to be aggressive, there is no real need for that. This can also be to feint aggression, though. So whenever you play against Serral, you take an aggressive base. He will very often play more cautiously. And most of the time, the way he reacts, from knowing him, is that he will make blind roaches. So Reynor might try to mind game him a little bit there. But we can already see he also, on top of that, wants to be aggressive. As Serral also, yeah. Serral is not gonna just make blind roaches, he actually wants to all in with 1 gas Roach Bane.
Alright. So he's gonna get that Roach Run and Bane Nest coming through. And Reynor just making a whole chunk of Lings right now. As he'll hit his Ling speed, and he's still adding on extra Zerglings, even just added a couple extras. So a lot of Lings from Reynor, but Serral, considering he wants to Roach Bane, should be pretty well prepped for this.
Yeah, if this was a Baning Nest skip, I wouldn't mind this for Reynor, but he just is going for a very late Baning Nest, so he will need to realize what's going on now with his aggression. It's very important for him.
Queen's gonna fire a couple Lings, take damage. Lings running through. Gonna get onto that hatchery. That 3rd hatch is likely gonna go down here. The Baneling will try and protect it. We actually are gonna protect it for the moment. Banes are still gonna be here. Gets a good clump of Lings. We're just going to have a few too many Lings, but in committing to the hatchery, right, that's going to mean that you put a lot of damage there, lost a lot of units, and now Serral's going to come straight across the map. Is missing the hatchery going to affect Serral's production too much here?
I don't think so. I think the biggest factor is that he didn't inject. I think he missed 2 entire injects there, Serral, because he tried to hold the 3rd base, but Reynor gave up so many units, it's almost going to be impossible for him to hold this. If I was Reynor, I would give up the 3rd base right away and counterattack. He already has Lings on the map, so I think that is the first step towards winning this game, but the second step will be giving up that 3rd base. I think it's almost impossible to trade against Roach Bane with Ling Bane. Especially if you're down in supply as well.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. Already chasing a couple of drones down. Serral is already rallying across towards the 3rd location. Little Ling counterattack here, but Queens and Lings should have that under control. And obviously, yeah, a few Banelings showing up for Reynor, but Serral already has Banelings as well. He'll just focus on the 3rd hatchery for the moment, being very safe about just kind of guaranteeing that he will even out the situation in this game. And Reynor just going to keep sending the counterattack across the other side, but there's no 3rd hatchery there, and so nothing really comes of that just yet.
Yeah, this is very Serral-esque attacking that hatchery. If he went to the natural, the game would already be over, 100%. Reynor had nothing there. He doesn't know that, so for him... Oh, he lost 2 banelings there. I'm not sure if it was to the hatchery or 2 extra zerglings, but he only has a single baneling remaining, which means if Reynor blows that one up, he maybe can trade well against these roaches. He doesn't have that many lings left over, but with those ling reinforcements, at the very least, he will be able to clear this up.
Serral tucks his roaches into the corner to try and minimize surface area, but you're right, he will get the cleanup at the very least. And so Serral, taking out the hatchery, starts his own hatchery already now. Reynor still just making a lot of lings. Serral has got a single bane middle of the map. Reynor sees it, pulls away. And Serral back at home defensively does have a few banes, so he should be fine protecting this hatchery. He is going to be down on the ling count, but the banes do a lot for you. There's banes morphing in from Reynor as Serral gets a few extra roaches up as well. Gets ready to play this defense.
Yep. This is the one part where I do favor Reynor a bit over Serral in these pure ling bane wars. I think already, build order-wise, it was once again very favorable for Serral, but Reynor played it a bit better than him there, and he made a huge mistake. He lost almost all of his banelings right away there. He only has 2 roaches and 2 banelings left. A 3rd roach comes from the back, but the 3rd base will get cancelled. A lot of lings make their way into Serral's natural, but that link commitment eventually into the natural will not pay off, as he will lose most of the zerglings. And Serral retakes the supply lead. The cancel on the 3rd base, though, was pretty good.
Yeah, gonna put Serral's 3rd base behind a little bit. They continue to scrap it out on this 2 base economy. 3rd hatchery coming back through, so Serral will be much later there. Reynor gonna take a chance to start droning. Now he can build roaches as well. Means that if Serral wanted to come across the map again, if he could, somehow, he would just be meeting roaches and probably would not see success. So, yeah, Serral kind of killing that 3rd hatch of his opponent originally really did just throw away maybe an opportunity where he could have done so much more. And now the game will just go on and kind of even up a little bit, right? I mean, as the drone counts continue to build, you can see that coming up evenly. It's just that faster 3rd from Reynor that's really the difference here.
Yeah, that is the biggest difference. I believe the player that now will stay more defensively will be favored here. I don't think you want to run across once again and tech into the other guy, because both players don't have tech. Both players have a lot of roaches already, so I think... Yeah, I would favor basically what Serral does. Serral, even though he's a bit behind, he now starts up the lair and the evolution chamber. And Reynor might just hold down the roach button. He obviously has more larvae, but roaches are quite expensive, so as long as Serral can spend his money, having more larvae doesn't really affect his ability to kill his opponent. And yeah, Reynor is going full all-in. He's fully committed, and it's a question of whether Serral overdrones now or not. If he doesn't, I think he's in a good position to hold this. Yep. He's only 5 drones there, that's a huge tell.
Yeah, okay, well, Serral, he did start 1 drone, obviously light on the way, plus 1 missiles coming up, but he is continuing to build roaches. Let's see what his next couple of units out on that production tab will be. Yeah, it's just more roaches, so it's looking good for Serral to have kind of figured out roughly what is coming his way and what the issue might be, and how to basically solve it. As Ravages morph in from Reynor, and Serral is just going to have to sit defensively. Like you say, you defend this and you're extremely far ahead.
Yeah. Simply because of the tech. He now confirmed that this was an all-in, but the roaches that he just made right now, he wasn't sure actually, so these roaches will not be in the fight, and that matters quite a bit, as on the field right now, Reynor's army is way better than Serral's army. He has a lot of zerglings. It will be very important for Serral to not lose these 2 banelings. He doesn't have a single spine on the way this time. The question is, did he respect this attack enough? I think it's mostly going to come down to these 2 banelings, if they can deny the zerglings from getting this around, because their +1 missile is not done yet, so the zerglings are actually quite good against these roaches.
Yep, and there goes one of the banelings being used defensively against a couple of lings. Now the lings start to stream through. Serral going to try and bring that baneling forward, but that will go down as well. And now it's just going to be Roach Ravager pushing forward with the Ravager biles available. That's going to help a lot. Serral has to start pulling in a few drones, but he's not super far ahead on workers, so losing too much is going to be painful. That upgrade is not going to finish. And it does look as though Reynor is very good here to take the game 3 of this series. A GG has to be called, and Serral taps out to give us more Starcraft.
Yeah, more Starcraft. Well done by Reynor. I think a missed opportunity from Serral for sure with the attack. I think taking out that 3rd base was a mistake, if I'm being entirely honest. I think no matter what, you want to check at the natural first, and then you can always go back to the 3rd base and kill it afterwards. So yeah, I do have to be critical there of Serral, because that game was very much so in his favor.
Yeah, just walk in the natural and you're going to be good probably, but like you say, just played a little bit too cautiously. I like what you called it, Serral-esque hit in the hatchery, where I think everyone else would have gone to just be like, "You're dead, right?" And then he would have been like, "Yeah, I'm dead." So a little bit overly cautious, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, we go to Amygdala for this next map. And yeah, kind of get into some slightly smaller maps as we move through. And for Reynor to join the lobby, looks like he's having a little bit of an issue, but otherwise should be good to go.
Yeah, he's relogging real quick.
Yep. Happens.
I think Amygdala should on paper also be a good map for Serral because it's not that easy to hide Zergling somewhere. It's very obvious where the army of your opponent is going, since there is really realistically only 2 paths, especially in the beginning. So that should be something good for Serral. It's also a map where it is very easy to defend the attacks of your opponent.
Yep.
However, later on, usually you take the fort base on the gold, so you can simply lose by one slightly bad engagement for you, because whoever then controls the center of the map will be mining from the gold base. So it is, in the early game, one of the more solid, one of the more straight up maps, but later on, both Zergs tend to take the fort base on the gold, and then it's really all about who has the biggest army and takes the better fight in the middle of the map.
Alright. Then we're gonna get this ready to roll out. And kick this off. So, away we go. We have got ourselves in the top right-hand side. Bringing it back a game and not letting this series slip away too quickly. It is going to be Reynor.
And his opponent, the winner of the most recent big tournament, the Masters Colosseum, it is Serral. I don't know why this clown is going 13 overlord every game.
He's just decided
because he should know.
He's just decided to forget what he's been recently taught, you know.
It is interesting, and it's also a cool example because you can see literally every single game so far. Serral had the earlier hatch and he was slightly ahead in minerals. You can see it again, like if you compared those two.
Yep. It's definitely a factor. Like it is a real thing. Reynor's like, I don't believe this nonsense, but you can see it with your own eyes. There is evidence.
Yeah, you know, it's 4 replays of proof. Proof. If he plays well, potentially he can even get a 5th.
We will take a moment or two. There's obviously hatcheries just come up, gas and pool on the way in. Nothing too overly crazy or anything just yet, right? Just very much so kind of what we expect to see. Hatch, gas and pool. Real way to go from the hatch, gas and pool into whatever is in store for us. As a few drones continue up, gas starts to mine, and away we go.
Yep, one thing that changed because of how expensive the queens are is that we don't saturate our gas right away. Instead, most of the time we just rally into gas. So that's a small change that we had to do also against Protoss, simply because otherwise you can't afford the 2 queens plus then the overlord and the drone. Aside from that, ZVZ barely changed at all from the patch. Mutas are a bit stronger because the spores are easier to snipe now. So that's a thing. Also, queens are more expensive, so another reason as to why Muta is a little bit better. But overall, you still can't go Muta if you're being all in, so it is still a little bit of a gamble, and it's more roach Muta than anything, where then once again the spores don't really matter too much because you don't get enough Mutas to kill them anyways. So yeah, ZVZ has barely changed. Since the new patch, the biggest change will be the maps, but the maps play out in a very standard way. Aside from Neon Violet, which is a very odd map to play.
Yeah, that back base obviously immediately causes concern slash just interesting for a ZVZ matchup, because you rely so much on having information on the third base usually, so that being kind of taken away makes it a whole lot more difficult to play.
It 100% does. You don't even know if your opponent's 2 base or 3 base very often at the start, and as you said, the third base is the main way we get our information. Whenever you see the Zerg scout if it's an all-in or not, we don't scout the natural or the main base for lack of a lair. Obviously we try to, but a good Zerg player will always block that. The most impactful scouts that we usually get is at the third base. How many drones are there? What is the larva producing there right now? That's the most reliable way of scouting, since you can't really guarantee yourself to get into the natural of your opponent.
Well, for the moment, we just see a couple of Lings making their way down to the, well, up to the top side, down to the third base location. Just people moving around, Lings getting in position. We are going to see some Banes coming up defensively from both players here as well, so that preparation is being made. As the Zerglings run in, that hatch rate is going to end up surrounded pretty darn quickly. And we are going to be seeing a couple of Banes coming across to try and work on that as well.
Yep. Good defense from Reynor. He's not going to lose much of anything, which means that he has a small advantage now because he started the drones up a little bit quicker than his opponent. Good trade there from Serral. I call this the I think I'm better than you build because you don't really plan on doing any damage, but you have enough units to defend an attack of your opponent, and if your opponent doesn't attack, you get scouting with this little bit of pressure. So Serral, whenever he plays against players that he thinks are worse than him, which is not the case here, obviously, but he plays this practically always, like almost every single game. It's this small bit of pressure.
Some Lings and Bane's going to trade here a little bit. Nice little pullback on one of those Lings. Roaches begin to build. Serral starts up his evolution chamber, and Reynor is really just set up to build Roaches and commit a little bit, right? I mean, Serral at least looking to the future of that Evo chamber. If Reynor is just going to macro up behind this as drone start, he will just end up behind layer timing wise and upgrade wise.
Yeah, this is a fake all-in from Reynor. The question is how much he can sell it. Knowing Serral, he will follow up scout consistently. He sees there are 9 drones. He still sees the roaches coming out. The question is he gonna make spine crawlers? Because if he doesn't, this is, as you said, it's bad for Reynor because his lair is later, his Evo chamber is later. He made the units first, which means Serral made the drones first. But Serral is not falling for it. He's follow-up scouting again. He sees the Zerglings are still at home. There's no extra roaches coming. And this just means that we're gonna see a mid-game where Serral is starting from an advantageous position.
Yeah, being able to start from a lead like that is obviously going to be very nice. As the missile upgrade continues through. Last hill building, Overlord's on the way. And Extractor builds, 2 Extractors build even on that third base, so he just gets ready to take all the gas that he needs for the future of this game. And he even starts to open up the gold base for himself, so it gives himself that option, something that maybe Reynor can try and, you know, attack into at some point. Maybe try and create some fights around there. Like you said, it's a bit of an awkward position, this gold, because obviously if the middle of the map opens up, or when it opens up, denying kind of the middle of the map is not easily done while also protecting your bases around the edges.
Yeah, it makes it for a very momentum-based map where really the player who has the lead is in an even bigger lead than he usually would be. The way Reynor is counteracting this lead now is with the Spire, so he's the one going Roach Muta. If Serral scouts this, and that's not the biggest if because he is Serral and he usually scouts everything, he will have Roach Hydra against Roach Muta. Theoretically, that's good for Serral. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for Reynor to have the better army in the middle of the map. So what Reynor needs to abuse is he first needs to get rid of all the vision of Serral on the map, and then I think, as you said, instead of going towards the center of the map, he has to abuse the outside lines. He first needs to clear the watchtowers and then work with the runbys, because his fighting army will be worse than what the Serral will have to offer.
Yep. Roaches make their way around that right-hand side. The rocks will expire very shortly, and the Overseer continue to move through. Roach speed and +1 missiles coming up on the side of Reynor. 15 roaches, Mutalisk on the way, Overlords all building. And we just see if, like you say, you can, again, deny that information, deny that scouting around the map, and then basically from there go and work the run-bys and work the counterattacks, because if he ends up with Serral's army on the other side of the map, he's going to be in a bad, bad place, because Reynor's army is not meant to trade well at all in this.
Serral, interestingly enough, is not even transferring drones to the gold base. He's such a cautious player. If I had an early game like this, I would have put 12 drones there instantly the moment this is done.
Well, instead, it's going to be seen how Roaches stepping up. Rocks will take some damage. A couple of Ravages coming through. The Hydras coming up as well. We do see Reynor moving through into the middle, so he is going to get behind that gold base, which, as you just mentioned, is not as saturated as one might hope for if you're Reynor. In fact, there's only a Spore Crawler there, so you can't really do much of anything. And Serral just positions himself to try and handle this army. He's got Ravages, he's got a few Hydras. His army set up well to see success here.
Yeah, it's still a difficult position for Serral, even though he has the better army now, to get back up that ramp and attack into Reynor, where Serral didn't transfer the drones to this gold base. Reynor did so right away. And he's now also going into baning speed, which means Serral is a bit on a clock. If he attacks with +2/1 upgrades, I still favor him heavily. But I think he wants to trade relatively soon. Rather sooner than later, because he's obviously getting outmined by that gold base.
Yeah, gold base mine, and obviously bailing speed on Bane's actually very scary against the Hydras. And if you knock all the Hydras down, the meters are going to have a fantastic time afterwards. So Serral does have a need to make something happen here a little bit. As we knock down a couple Overlords, Reynor will not end up supply blocked from that. And these armies poised in the middle of the map. Upgrades about to be done from Serral, so if he wants to push the issue, this might be the moment to do so. If he does push forwards, he would also get rid of that gold a little bit. A lot of Banes on the way from Reynor. And also using the mutas to pull Serral back, who is now going to position to fight in the middle. A couple of biles already coming down.
Yeah, it's important now for Serral to fight also away from his own base, because usually the first fight is always won by the Banelings, but they trade slightly cost ineffectively. He also doesn't even know that these Banelings exist right now. Obviously, preferably, you would like to have Infestors or Lurkers against them. Not the case here, so... Serral is getting caught even without the Hydras here, and you would think that the Banelings are just good against the Hydras, but they're also good at tanking damage against this Roach Ravager. Now a very good position though. Big corrosive bile hits from Serral. The Hydras are splitting towards the back. Let's see if the Banelings can do enough damage.
Yeah, the Mutilas are going to try and fight those few Hydras. Most of the Hydras will get rid of most of the Mutas. The Hydra's actually going to burrow. There's no detection available here. So Serral going to save some of his units and buy time for other units to show up. And now he can pop back up and try and protect the gold base as well. As now he's actually going to kind of have a little bit of a surround on Reynor, because he's going to have his reinforcements coming in from the left. And Reynor had just enough to fight through here. Serral maybe having to pick that fight just a moment too soon. He did knock down pretty much every single Mutalist. He does not necessarily need to remake too many Hydras now, unless he fears the Muta rebuild. Look at Reynor's money, man. He's got 2,000 minerals just spare right now. It's,
yeah, that's a gold base at work right there. He's struggling though with the gas. Pure Roach Army is not that scary. Serral still has some Hydras and a Ravager left over, but he's trying to fight at the top of the ramp right now in order to defend his own gold mineral mining. It's, I think, a good fight for Serral. With that Carapace upgrade advantage, he now closes in on the Ravagers. Focus fires down the first, the second, the third, and GG is called. Serral takes the series with a 3-1.
3-1 for Serral. Looking good. A couple cool moments in this series and just well played. Obviously, you mentioned just a lot of his scouting, and his scouting really was just very good throughout, right? Just constantly able to pick up on what's happening for the most part. Maybe a bit too cautious in that one game he lost, but otherwise, Serral putting himself in a lot of good positions. Yep.
Yeah, not much more to it. He does play still so cautiously though. It's insane. I would have went up that ramp from the get-go and not pulled my drones to the gold base right away. But he says, you know what? I'll wait for my upgrades. I know I'm ahead in upgrades, and then I know I can take the better fights. Go from there.
Yep. All right, so we moved to NA, and we got another great series coming up in the form of Dark versus Maxpax. This was meant to be the first match of the day. Got swapped around a little bit. So now we get Dark Maxpax. The winner moves on to play against Serral. The loser drops down to play against Reynor. So definitely not a section of the bracket you want to be losing in. I mean, there's no easy plays in this bracket, but meeting Reynor first round of the lower bracket has never been a fun proposition.
No, I don't think so. I think even in a round of 8 lower bracket, that's not what you want to see.
Absolutely not, no. So yeah, big matchup coming up right now. I mean, Dark Maxpax, I think, very interesting as well. Maxpax has looked very good lately in this PvZs. He's been having some good results, but Dark always has those a little bit of a weirder set of builds and a different way of playing that can make things just look so different. Maxpax has had the better of Dark the last couple times they've met, but they've not played that much lately. The last time they played was December, I believe, and then before then was actually all the way back in May. So they have not played a lot. After playing in the start of 2024, they played so much in ESL Open Cup Americas and stuff, but yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, does Maxpax play the Pigosaur Cups? Maybe that's why. Yeah, I'm not sure about the Pigosaur Cups. I'm actually surprised they didn't play in one of my Monday Cups, but I guess initially Dark wasn't playing a lot of those, and I think they often ended up on different sides of the bracket too, so...
Yeah, I also think Dark overall is performing worse, so...
Yeah,
they used to always face each other because Dark always made it to the finals, but now very often Dark loses round of 8. Round of 16, whereas Maxpax still is performing quite well, which also means that I do believe that Maxpax is the favorite here, but I would never count out Dark in a series like that. He might just knight his Queen Ling all in 3 times and randomly win. Yeah,
you can never doubt the potential of his all-ins and some of his timings, and yeah, I think you're right in favor of Maxpax. I think you'd be crazy to count out Dark. pretty much. That's where I'm at with this one. So Maxpax is just going to take a moment for a relog, and then we should get some videos going. Get underway, and get some more Starcraft 2 rolling. Exciting.
Yep. Also, shout out to the new subs. I love that we can see our shared subs.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to everyone dropping the love on the chat. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's nice, right? Because like in the past, like to stop and shout out and stuff was kind of like awkward. Now it's just like you can both see it.
Yeah, I think
the shared chat and
better.
stuff's actually very cool. I like it.
I like it too.
Yeah, it's very neat.
Someone in chat earlier asked why we don't see more Queenling Nidus Swarms, because now the battery overcharge is gone. I think the Oracles with more energy are actually better against that strategy, because Links are melee units. There will always be Links outside of Queen range where the Oracles can get to shoot. So the Oracles never running out of energy is bigger against that. I had the same initial thought in the PTR, and then I tried the Queenling Nidus a bunch, and it legit never worked. Because usually you want to spread your links into multiple different bases, and the Oracles just clean them up by themselves. So it actually simplifies the defense of Protoss a little bit further over the battery overcharge. So I think all of the link-based Solins are a bit worse now against Protoss.
Very interesting.
What about Queen Roach Nidus? That already didn't work before the patch, and it also doesn't work after the patch. It's just hits a bit too late, a bit too weak as well against the Blink Stalker openers. I think if you want to do an all-in, then you have to walk the queens or drop the queens for something. But even those, I think Blink just defends everything, kind of. is the reason you see less of those all-ins. And Blink is super common.
Blink's very good, man. So dominant in the matchup. It's just a safe way to play as well, right? Like, gives you so much mobility, you can micro, show off your micro. It's just freaking good.
Yeah, it's very good. Usually the way Maxpax approaches a series is he plays his normal 2-gate blink into a 6-gate blink, like with a quick third base into Storm. Macro, at least, I would say 3 out of 5 games, and then one of the games he will play Stargate into Glaives, and one game he will play Stargate into Charged Archon. And that's usually how all of his best of 5s go. So there's still a little bit of variety, but we will still see Blink most of the time.
It's just starting up. What do you think? Do you think Dark just takes out some of the bigger maps here? I feel like that's been a trend for Zergs the last few days in the CVP. Take out some of the King's Cove and stuff.
Yeah, usually Zergs take out Neon and King's Cove, as you said, the bigger maps, because we don't really like to play late game, and these maps simplify the defense quite heavily. He actually takes out Abyssal, which is crazy. I think that's one of the best Zerg maps.
Wow.
That's such a crazy veto. I would have said, after these two, I would have said Amygdala as well. It's not bad for Protoss, but Abyssal is a crazy veto.
Alright, well, Maxpax takes away some of the smaller maps. Frostline and Whispers are gold. He takes away some of Dark's more aggressive opportunities. And Dark will get one more veto here. And then he will also get first map pick, so let's see what Dark decides to do.
One thing that's very interesting as well is that a lot of Protoss players veto Frostline simply because the bases are far apart, but I think Frostline is actually a good map for Protoss. It just feels very uncomfortable, that's why most of them veto it.
Yeah.
But I don't actually think it's a bad map for Protoss. Like, I think Abyssal, for example, is better for Zerg than Frostline.
Maxpax picking the first map when he's not meant to. Breaking the rules. Unbelievable.
Instantly said my bad.
Yeah, instant sorry. Instant sorry. Alright, no worries. We just take a moment or two. Here's Dark's map pick. So his video was King's Cove. So no King's Cove, Abyssal Reef, Frostline, or Whispers of Gold. Leaves you with an Amygdala, El Dorado, Leylines, Ultra Love, and Neon Violet Square. So some of the bigger maps definitely still in there. Definitely have not seen Maxpax shine away from some of those larger maps lately. So we'll see how it turns out. As Dark maybe about to pick his map here. Next moment or two.
I'm calling it Ultra Love.
Ultra Love?
Ultra Love map pick. Or maybe El Dorado.
Neon.
Oh my god. Okay, I did not see that one coming. Probably I think he's gonna go gold first.
Gold first. I think he's just gonna. Yeah, I was gonna say gold first, but I was like, I think he's gonna have some shenanigans. I don't think he's playing a normal game on Neon Violet Square as his first map pick. Maybe that's the mind game, and maybe that's the 200 IQ part of it.
Maybe it is. Maybe he just plays a standard late game. He saw Serral beating Maxpax in late game in Masters Colosseum. Obviously, Maxpax also beat Serral in late game beforehand, but the last series he did beat him, and Dark looks at it and he's like, you know what? I can do that as well.
Mm.
It would be extremely surprising to me, but Dark's actually very good in late game himself, so I would love to see it. I just don't think that's what his plan is, but we'll see.
We'll find out. There's you get a couple more videos, a couple more map picks coming through. One more map pick from Dark, and we should be good to get this hosted up. And we should be able to go. Then after this, we got some TVPs on the way as well. Hero plays Gumiho, Skillous plays Clem, as we work our way through all of the best of fives today. Very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Eldorado 4th, which leaves us with the 5th map being Ultra Love. So, as we have all of our maps, we should be able to get this hosted and go kick off into some games. I love that they have a... I always find it kind of funny they have an official admin. It takes like 10 minutes after the series to get videos done.
Yeah, it's 'cause he's in the lobby, right? So
Yeah, I know. He's like observing as well. I get it. Just
I think they should tell them to do it on Discord simply.
Yeah, I know.
Before the series
I
starts.
mean,
it's really not that
yeah.
difficult.
to tell them to do it, the players are already like in chat channels waiting with each other. But all good. As we are just waiting for one person to accept a lobby invite, and we'll be off and away into Neon Violet Square. Big map to start off this series. Potential already for a long game if Dark wants to let it go there. But obviously a lot of potential for him to play some shenanigans on a map like Neon Violet Square as well. So we'll see how that turns out as this game comes up in the next few moments. Neon Violet Square to start our series off. Starting on West as well, so it is going to be Dark's server preference for this big map to begin with. Worth noting as well.
Mm-hmm. I think it will be a Giga Chat move if he decides to just play a normal late game on the map that every other Zerg vetoes.
Yeah, that would be a choice for sure. That's everyone just joining the lobby. French casters have 3 different guys here. Incredible. I actually think it's a full lobby. It's crazy.
Yeah, it looks big. That's for sure.
It does look big. Alright, so we'll go into Neon Violet. Just waiting for our players to be readied and everything. For Dark to be dragged up as well, so we are working on it.
Do you have an overall favorite for this tournament? You obviously saw Serral just won the Masters Colosseum. He did lose though in the upper bracket to Maxpax, and also Clem wasn't in the round of 8 there.
That's a good question. I actually just think Serral.
Okay.
I think Serral's maybe starting to figure out ZVP a little bit more, which was one of my concerns for him last week. I mean, I saw him lose one series, so I immediately thought it was over. Overreaction. I don't know, I feel like Clem's had a couple of tough TVPs lately. I actually think he might struggle in his section of the bracket just in general. So I would pick Serral just because I think it's more likely Serral goes to the grand finals from the upper bracket, to be honest.
Okay, I see.
But I honestly, kind of hard to pick. I feel like we don't have clear favorites as much as we had in previous tournaments.
Yeah, for sure. It's also funny because some players are more favored against others in particular. For example, I would put Clem as a favorite against Serral. Yeah. But then Serral is more solid against other people, so
that's pretty much why
likely to get there.
Why I chose Serral, because I think he's got more chance of getting to the grand final from the upper bracket, and I think there's more chance Clem gets knocked out before then. Very possible that just doesn't happen, in which case, you know, ask me in 2 days' time, I might change my pick, so. Yeah. There's a lot of, I just think it's a more treacherous path, especially with Serral having already now beaten Reynor. I think it's a more treacherous path for Clem still.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we get into some ZVP is in the top left-hand side. We will see the Red Zerg player picking this map. It is Dark.
And his opponent representing Storm, it is the Prince of Denmark, Maxpax.
So you're thinking Dark plays some gold bases, maybe plays a bit funky. He's already on his way over to that gold base, so the call is very good already. And into get that hatchery started up. So there's that gold base coming straight away. Typically what I've seen from Maxpax when a gold base comes up is he does like to obviously be aggressive into it. He does typically start to play glaives and so on. Is that what you've been seeing, or do you think there's something else he might be trying to bring out in this series?
I think I remember on Alcyone, whenever I would take the gold base, very often he played glaives.
Yep.
So I remember the same. He would even play 5-gate glaives, so like very committed glaives. I think glaives is actually bad against the gold base because you have more units to work with. And the one shade that doesn't cover 2 different bases because of how far the base is away. So I actually think glaives is bad. And I would hate to see it on this map because this base is even easier to defend than Alcyone. Plus, it's further away from the Protoss side. I think he's just gonna play normal, personally, but we'll see. I mean, so far I didn't even scout it, so he can't really change his game plan based on his opponent's gold if he doesn't see it, right?
That is actually kind of funny that obviously the hatch being further away is almost worse for the aggressor, and especially if you play glaives because of how powerful that shade should be. The fact it's further away might make it easier for Dark to defend, so I didn't really think about that, but that is a cool concept as the Cyber Core comes online for Maxpax. We'll see his first tech structure here in the first few moments, and he can decide what he wants to start doing very shortly.
Yeah, one thing that's also cool to notice is that the more I play Starcraft, the more I notice these types of things where whenever someone picks an unusual map, it's usually because they have a prepared strategy on it. So that's why I was pretty sure he was going to go gold first. And I could observe this throughout my career from so many different players that I'm pretty sure they didn't talk with each other, but whenever they have a strategy that they have a good feeling for, they will pick this map earlier on, even if it's not the normal map pick that they have. Which sometimes can be a giveaway, so I personally don't like doing it, even if I have a strategy in which I'm very confident in. I leave it open for later, because I say to myself, I don't want to give anything away, and if I win, I need to win two different maps anyways. But there obviously is also a case being made for just simply having good momentum in a series, and that also being very important. And that's obviously why people are doing it, right?
It can also just feel good, right? If you have a build prepared on your opponent's map, it works, and all of a sudden you're like, well, I just took your map off you. It puts a bit more pressure on the other guy, because now they're behind the series and behind a map pick, essentially, so
yeah,
pretty rough. Oracle coming across, a few drones moving about as we have ourselves the gates coming through, and the Oracle just heading to the upper left-hand side, and we'll try and go for a little bit of pressure here, and he's going to activate for 2 drones already, so Maxpax gets a couple workers, and he's just going to take a forward third base down on that low ground, so it's pretty common for the pros to ignore that back base. The half minerals does not do you any favors, and they really do try and take these forward bases instead a lot of the time. That's exactly the case for now.
This actually has changed from the last time I played against him, where he expanded at least in a line, definitely not the back base with the 4 mineral patches, but the other one first, and then this would be his fourth base. So I wonder why he changed that. This base, obviously you can attack it from the high ground a little bit, so I wouldn't mind seeing some Ravagers later on showing up from the high ground, or Hydras even. Like if you do a Hydra attack, you theoretically have to defend the high ground with Blink Stalkers. So I think that makes the Hydra attacks much more scary for the Protoss, because then you will have a massive concave while attacking, and you don't even need to run into your opponent. So yeah, I wonder how this is going to play out, because I haven't seen Protosses take this as their third base too often. I saw Hero do it, but he was pretty aggressive. So we'll see how Maxpax plays it out. So far, it's exactly the thing I mentioned previously. It's a quick third base, then from 2-gate straight into 6-gate with a Fortune at Twilight.
Well, we got the Oracle activating, just going to chase a few Zerglings away already. Blink and +1 coming up. Extra couple of gateways coming through as well, as that melee upgrade continues to come into place. Just going to get that straight up and rolling. For the moment, there's a hatch now there, all coming through. And just having the Oracles continue to control the map for now. They will continue to make their way about. Drop some Revelations down, knock down some of these creep tumors, open up this map space. And Queens for the moment, just going to grab that Oracle. The Oracle going to take some damage as well.
That was rough for Maxpax. Not only did he not take the one drone that he could have attacked there and had there for free, but he lost an Oracle, and that was very high energy as well. So that's a very good pickoff for Dark. I would give him a sizable lead already, going up to 6 hatcheries, which is pretty crazy. But Dark never shied away from taking extra hatcheries.
Well, Hydra Den coming up, the Bane Nest coming through, and we will have ourselves, as Blinking +1 finishes, Maxpax a chance to start getting onto the map. As, yeah, Doc just all the bases in the world and giving Maxpax a few targets to aim for with these Stalkers.
Wow, Maxpax actually wants to proxy gate Blinkstock roll-in. That is so bad against mass bases, low worker count, +1 melee. Is the best builder in a match that Dark could have hoped for here.
Right.
Legit the best builder in matchup. Because he will have good Zergling upgrades, he will have a lot of Zerglings, and with a lot I really do mean a lot. And he already killed one of the Oracles, which are supposed to help the Stalkers once the Zerglings engage. So this is really a perfect setup for Dark to win the first map.
Well, Stasis Sword is going to catch a few Lings. Lings is going to be pulling back. Stalker's blinking. Obviously, pretty good trade initially, at least for Maxpax. Though this area of where you're fighting right now definitely favors Maxpax as he even blinks forward. He's going to go after some of these queens as well. Dark is really standing his ground a little bit more than I thought he would. I thought he'd back away a little bit, try and buy a bit more time for reinforcements. He's got a lot more Lings pouring out. The Hydra's coming through as well. They're going to have Brew Spines immediately to work with. And so, of course, these Stalkers pulling back into that choke point area once more.
Yeah, I don't think the Lynx can fight here. So I'm also surprised by how aggressive Dark is trying to be right now. Obviously the gateway is not done yet, so maybe he wants to take a fight before the quick warpins kick in, but I think he should have counterattacked, to be honest, with most of those Lynx and then try to just let the Protoss come even a little bit closer to his base before he starts to engage. But you can already see the supply difference. This is not normal. Yeah. When you see Hydra Ling Bane against a Blink Olin, you never see the Zerg being this far up in supply. And yeah, I mean, he can even now pull all the queens forward quite handily because he has so many bases where he can simply stack injects, bring all the queens forward, use them to transfuse as well. It's going to be hard for Maxpax to further push forward here as the Hydra numbers are already quite big, and even though this is a big stasis, well, maybe now Dark should turn around.
Yep, just going to turn back a little bit and just going to be seeing these Elds starting to get brought into this as well. They're going to have charge. Maxpax with the Robo Facility finishing, and Temple Archives on the way, so he's definitely feeling the idea of switching up a little bit of what he's up to at the moment and moving along to the next stage. Maybe having the Lynx still chasing back, and with Ainspeed about kicking as well, though, Dark's going to have another strength to kind of play with here very soon.
Yeah, Bane speed +2 is done already against just Stalkers. I think if Dark attacks, Maxpax is kind of dead. I think he wants to clear up the gateways first, but this is not a comfortable spot for the Protoss whatsoever. The stasis wards are kind of saving him here as he's retreating. And Maxpax is doing a good job. If he just stands at home on his side of the map, and then he tries to take a fight, there is no chance he can ever win this. But he's trying to be active on the map and he's trying to clear units on the way towards his base. Forward blink there even against the Hydras.
Yep.
He needs to take the fight before Dark joins up with all of his forces, because the moment he does, Maxpax's army is just worse than what Dark has.
Yeah, Hydra's going to get here. Gold base is going to be under fire straight away. It's a lot of Lings going to step forward here. The Stasis Ward is going to catch just the single Zergling, in fact. So these Stalkers now in trouble. They get surrounded. They're getting chased, and Maxpax is getting demolished here on Neon Violet Square. And Dark's style of choosing a good map for his opponent, but getting a win early is so far working out nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get punished for the gold. His opponent didn't even scout, so he didn't have to be afraid of anything. And on top of that, he had the best builder matchup possible. Like, even without the gold, I think he would have had a good chance at winning this, simply because he chose to go for this low gas style, quick Ling upgrades, Ling Hydra. It's just so strong against these Blink stock roll-ins. And yeah, you can see the result here, where Maxpax is doing a good job with the Zealots on the other side of the map, and even if he might barely survive here, we're still looking at a 6-base Zerg who's mining from a gold base.
Yeah, it's not really getting any better for you at any point soon, right? So looks as though that is going to be it, and Dark is going to take the opening map of this best of 5. So Dark gets the first game, gets off to a great start. He's going to be loving that, and obviously trying to capitalize on a bit of momentum now, heading into a game 2 in the next couple of moments. Yeah, into Maxpax's map pick, which is now going to be ley lines, so we get that started up, and away we go.
So question from the chat, why did Maxpax not try to take up to Storm or Colossus? It's simply because he had a different strategy in mind. He wanted to all in on this map with the proxy gateway. He thought he could kill his opponent. And if you're committing to that all in, you don't have a robo and you also don't have the extra gas to tech into the Templar archives. If you try to do both at the same time, you might as well not do the attack because it's never going to work. So yeah, it was just a different strategy that he chose to do. In hindsight, obviously, I'm sure he would have instead liked to rather go into Storm early or into Colossus, because that would have given him a better chance against what he was up against.
Alright, we are counting down into game number 2. So into ley lines we go, and let's see what we are going to do here as we kick off into a Maxpax map pick, so his chance maybe to bring it back a game or so, see what he can do. Ley lines coming up. Going to be starting off to the upper right side where the red Zerg player, whose upper game resides. It is going to be Dark. Up one game and getting off to a good start. Let's see if he can keep the momentum going into game 2.
And his opponent down the map, but I think still the favorite maybe to win this series. It is Psystorm's Maxpax.
How do you feel about ley lines? Because this is a map which I know a lot of people have really enjoyed a lot. Do you feel the same? And how do you think it works out for this matchup?
I think it is a very standard map, but with some twists, which is always what the coolest maps tend to be, in my opinion, where you can definitely see some very map-specific features that make the map their own, but still the map should be reasonably balanced. I do think this map is slightly worse for Zerg than it is for both Protoss and Terran, simply because we tend to take more bases early on, and then we're forced to take these rich gas bases, and both of these rich gas bases, not only are they blocked, so they eventually have 6 mineral patches and a very late extra gas, but they're also in very bad positions for A, tank pushes, and B, later on in the game against like the Tempest late game that Protoss usually goes for.
Actually, some interesting points. We'll see what we get here. Is already hatchery on the natural of Maxpax, and Dark says that he is going to cause some trouble and he's not going to give Maxpax an easy go of it. He's going to make his life difficult and make him have to play through some weirdness in the early stages here already. And yeah, going to try and take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think this is the best hatch block there is. If you get the 3 hatch before you pull it down, and you still get the hatch blocked on the other side of the map where you get the Nexus blocked, I think this usually favors Zerg. I've seen Maxpax have a response against this, and I do like the 2-gate response, but I don't like this one. I like the one where you get 2 zealots. Because this one, the hatchery will finish, and your natural will actually be delayed forever, and you don't really have counter pressure. So I'm not the biggest fan of this response. Every Protoss has their own response. Some pull workers, some don't. All of them are slightly different. I'm not the biggest fan of this one, because all of your units are forced to stay at home for so long, and your Nexus is very, very late. So the last time I saw this happen was, I think, against Shin, and he ended up losing that game. He ended up quite far behind as well, so he even ignores the hatchery for now.
Yeah, just going to go across the map with the Adepts. That's very interesting. That means you're going to be extremely delayed when it comes to taking your own expansion. I mean, Queen has a shot of getting up here and maybe potentially getting a creep teamer down as well. Maxpax should be on top of trying to deny that. Yeah, I guess these 2 Adepts at least can put some pressure in.
They need to do some damage here as well. I'm not sure they can, because Dark already made a lot of Zerglings, and there's no drones at the natural, so that was a good choice by Dark to go back into his main base with the drones, oversaturate the main for a little bit, and just defend. And at the same time now he can multitask, and on Maxpax's side of the map he's already losing some mining. The Queen is out. Not sure I would have finished that Queen, unless the Cryptomore goes down. That's never worth it.
Yep. We just see a couple of Adepts going to try and move about. Lings will potentially take some damage. Now I've got the creep teamer does get denied there, so that's going to be a good save, because if you let that up, that would be very frustrating and very difficult for you as the Zealot and Adept together. Just going to get rid of that hatchery.
Yeah, that was huge. The Oracle was supply blocked as well, by the way.
Oh. So Maxpax just off to a bit of a rough start. This has definitely worked in Dark's favor so far, thrown his opponent very off from kind of the momentum he's meant to be having.
Yeah, we'll see. Dark doesn't have a 3rd base yet, so These are the games where it's even hard for me to tell who really is ahead. Because theoretically, Dark has a lot of units out now, but he has been outmined. I think in a bit from now, it will end up being exactly as you said. I think it ends up being good for Dark because of simply how late this Nexus is. He's just going for 1 Zealot there instead of 2. Means the Nexus is so much later. He's had the 400 minutes for quite a while. But at the same time, obviously, the Oracles are early in comparison to where they usually would be for the game state, so...
Yep.
I don't know, it's a weird one.
And Nexus only just gets started now. Twilight Council starts up from Maxpax, so he's going to move into that pretty much right away here. And yeah, drop that Nexus down, and we will sit and wait to see where we are headed. For the next few moments, the Oracle coming across the other side, just going to be moving straight in and activating to get rid of a creep tumor or so. And a little bit of damage done there. And yeah, we sit back, we see these Adepts moving about. We kind of wait to see if Maxpax can do anything with Oracle Adept while his Nexus gets about halfway done now.
Well, I think the main thing he's trying to do is deny the 3rd base, but his Adepts were a little bit too far forward, so they're forced to commit in there now. The Oracles still can deny the 3rd base, so Dark's own 3rd base is very late. Like, this game looks super weird because the worker count is kind of fine, it's kind of even, but Dark's way out mining Maxpax right now because he's mining off 2 bases instead of just 1. Maxpax is simply long distance mining with a lot of workers. But then once the natural of Maxpax is done, usually there would be a 3rd base already from Zerg. So it really is a very, very odd game. And Maxpax is even going charge to make it just that little bit weirder.
Charge will definitely make it an interesting next step because it's going to be charged and then not really much else to go with it. I mean, yes, obviously Robo coming up, and then you can maybe get Temple Archives too if you want to go kind of, you know, charge out Archon. Oracle going to get some energy back on track, and we're just going to be seeing the drones continue to produce on through Lings and Queens in production as we speak. And the Robo facility is halfway done currently from Maxpax, so yeah, if he wants to get any aggression going, the Prism will be available shortly. That will be obviously a major help, a major push in the right direction. There's a couple Oracles take some shots, and yeah, we just wait. I mean, Dark is obviously going to get some time to get a Roach Roaring up. There's Temple Archives, so we can get to Archons from Maxpax as well. Yeah, just setting up to potentially be aggressive here soon.
I really think he should have taken a 3rd Nexus much sooner. I also think this is the place where Maxpax is the weakest if he just can't follow his plan. Like, usually he has this AI with this gameplay chart in his own mind where he knows exactly what to do if the opponent does X and Y. But this game has played out very weirdly, and I think at this point he's improvising, where I would much rather have like a hero in my game than a Maxpax if I'm a betting man and I want to see the Protoss win. I do still think that his spot is, I think this is almost even. Maybe he's a bit behind, but Dark's drone count is very bad. He will have enough roaches to defend this handily, but his own worker count is not that good.
Well, has the Prism open in the high tempo, so you can begin to Archon drop. You got the Oracles to play the protection there as well while they move into Archons. Lings will try a counter-attack. They might be able to get toward the 3rd base. They go past the Adepts already, so getting that 3rd, they will be able to, sorry, not Adepts, but Zealots, but yeah, they'll be able to just run by. See, it's on the way. And Roach is going to start popping, so we can really start to deal with these Archons, which get some crew tumors to begin with. The first Stasis Ward's coming down. Pretty quick pushback, as we are just going to send a couple Lings off to pop that first Stasis.
Yeah, that's basically a delayed Christianer. Which, this used to be the center opening, but now only Christianer does it. Very late 3rd base, but you only have good units, basically. You take your 4 gases early, you have a lot of Archons, you have a lot of Immortals. And that's what this builder is relying on, and I think Dark wants to all in. Dark stopped at 56 workers. He needs to get... Okay, I was about to say, he needs Overlord Speed or something to get the Queens across, because without Queens, he will just simply die to the 3 Oracles.
Yep.
But yeah, Dark's gonna all in, and it's just a question of whether Maxpax has enough units. I think this build is not easy to all in into, because it has a lot of units early on.
There's a lot of tech units as well, right? Just like Immortals, Archons. They are usually the keys to defending, so as long as you can do a bit of protection on those, it can very quickly become very difficult for Dark, who is going to start a Hydra Den behind this as well, as the Archons get rid of the Overlord, and that Prism continues to move about and just make it as difficult as possible for Dark to have a justified attack. I mean, I feel like Dark doesn't really have enough to go across on that personally. I feel like he's going to run into a brick wall of defense.
Yeah, Dark did something very cool and a very mature move, where he scouted with a Zergling on the third base. He said, you have enough units to defend my all-in. He cancelled the Overlord speed, and he's now going for a late roll-in, which is a Roach Hydra. I think what Dark is banking on is that Maxpax attacks into him.
Yeah.
If Maxpax goes Storm, I think he has like barely any chance of winning this game ever, because he's not gonna win with an attack into Storm if Maxpax already has this many units. But if Dark can fake playing a normal macro game with these Hydras, say, you know what, I want to go into Lurkers, I want to tech up, and then Maxpax attacks into him, which is exactly what's happening right now, by the way. That's his best chance at winning the game, and I think his only chance.
Well, the Roaches are going to spread a little bit here as he looks to protect the hatchery number 4. Storm does start from Maxpax behind it, so he's got something of a follow-up as a couple of the Hydras getting caught initially by some Zealots on the other side. Maxpax actually able to take a pretty reasonable fight for himself here thus far as that hatchery finishing up. Those Zealots surround a Queen Man. The Zealots definitely causing issues. Some Crows files though connecting. Some of the Archons begin to die. Maxpax a bit busy and not microing back into the Prism. If Prism just very far back, and so it's another dead Archon. I mean, Dark is going to end up losing the 4th base. Those Zealots have still been causing issues.
Yeah, Maxpax can simply go back now, and his Storm is halfway done. He should be able to get home with all of those units. I don't think he needs to force a fight here anymore. I think he knows that as well. He can simply start +2, start up a 4th base, play from there, and he should always be in a good position.
Yeah. Gonna be seeing the Hydras, +2 missiles. Skill augments all coming about. We do have ourselves the army. Coming across the map then from Maxpax coming back home and just setting up into his 4th base. And I mean, Dark is running around after the Warp Prism still, so he's not exactly having the best of moments as his muscular augments will finish, but I'm not sure Hydra speed is going to do much apart from allow him to commit across the map and to give it a go, but against Storm, it feels pretty rough.
It does feel pretty rough. And I don't think Maxpax is going to attack anytime soon, because he knows he killed the 4th base. He knows what units his opponent has. And I think he even saw that there was no hive, yeah. He saw at some point that there was no hive in the main base as well, so... The game plan has become very easy for Maxpax. And I think Dark will not be left without much of a choice, other than attacking. I think I think the moment he's getting close to max out, he needs to fight on the other side of the map, and he just needs to try and either out-multitask his opponent or find a good fight somehow.
Yeah. Drop a little revelation down. Roach Hydra gonna get caught. The Hydras, Roaches, Ravages gonna step up here for a couple moments. The Zealots, the Archon, the Immortal's gonna be there. Good Storm's gonna hit a lot of the Hydra Ravager. As we do continue through, another Archon going down. A chunk of additional Zealots get warped in. We see a pylon getting picked up, a couple more Zealots going down. It's a good Stasis Ward catching some Hydras and a Ravager on the other side. And we continue just kite away here with these Zealots, but I mean, Maxpax has a squad of Immortals which on their own could probably fight this army off. Never mind the Storms, never mind the Archons. So yeah, it does feel as though Dark trying his best to kind of attack everywhere to pull Maxpax apart a bit. It's just going to be an extremely uphill battle.
Yeah, that one put honestly surprisingly well for Dark. Maxpax made a couple of mistakes there. He activated Guardian Shield on the wrong sentry, then he left some High Templars to die in between the bases, that those were misrallied. And I mean, I applaud Dark for what he got done there, but if you just look at the unit count, as you said, the Immortals alone almost defend this. So yeah, he needs something magical if he wants to win this game.
Well, Hydra's Ravager going to come through. A couple of Zealots going to get caught down the right side immediately. As the Immortals are going to be pushing units back up the left as well. I mean, yeah, like you say, something magical. He's going to get to the Infestation Pit, but it just seems like a matter of time before Maxpax is realistically tying this one up, I think.
Yes, yes. I think Dark's kind of lucky that Maxpax is not mining from that 1 minute patch that's blocking the Rich Gas, because then it would be even more High Templars. Oh, huge Stasis Ward. That one is so bad, because now Maxpax has time to set this up and even get the Zealots right next to it if he wants to.
Yep, that's going to do a lot for him. First Storm here already just dissuading some of the Hydras from coming into the fight. Dark again just trying to come in from all angles and just test Maxpax's army splitting, but the splits are good. The Stasis Wards are only going to help. It's an extremely difficult battle here for Dark. I mean, you can set up as well as you want to. Your opponent is just very well set up as well, so... Like we've already said a couple times, it's going to be tough.
It is going to be tough, but he just killed the one High Templar with a lot of energy. He now is going back to kill the Zealot run bys. I mean, one way to trade effectively is to simply kill the Zealot run bys. Like we saw, I think 6 Zealots earlier getting caught in the bottom right hand side. If you think about it, that's 1.5 Nexus just dying there for free. So he would need a lot of those, and then he needs to somehow survive. It's clear that he can't kill Maxpax anymore with what Maxpax has, but now Dark is the one that needs to somehow stay alive to even have a chance at winning this game. Best case for Dark would be Maxpax not realizing that he can simply go across the map and kill him now.
Yeah. I mean... Yeah. I mean, I'm not even convinced Lurkers are going to make that much of a difference for Dark. I feel like he's not going to have that many of them. I don't think the Immortals are going to care. I think this is going to be Maxpax able to just attack him no matter what. And the Lurkers don't even have upgrades yet, so as Maxpax already starts to arrive, we've not made any Lurkers just yet, so it's still just Hydra laying. Not damage output, but obviously very weak to Storms, very preemptive Storms from Maxpax going ahead of the army rather than more towards on top of the army. Then a few Zealots slip into the base on the right-hand side, and he is going to force his way up to this high ground where obviously he can work on a hatchery. He's probably going to be able to turn on those Hydras. He's got a good concave on them. He's going to get surrounded a little bit, but this is where the Storms are really going to do some serious damage as well, as try and chase the left-hand side, but actually Dark is still doing better than I thought he would, I guess, is what my conclusion is, but probably not enough anyway.
Yeah, this is looking quite close, but as long as all the gas units of the Protoss, especially the Immortals and High Templars, stay alive, you can't really engage on top of this. I think one thing that is making this look way closer than it should be is that there is no reinforcement here. Like, Maxpax is always warping in the Zealots on his side of the map, and now there's no High Templars left over. It's just Hydras against pure Immortals, so the Immortals need to go back. At the same time, Dark is losing all of his economy, though, to the Zealot run-bys. That's the warping that I talked earlier. It might arrive a minute late to the fight, but it still is very decisive victory for Maxpax, simply with that Zealot run-by. Even all of those Hydras are getting caught, Maxpax can kill those at some point. He also has a mothership on the way. He's now also mining from effectively 8 gas, because the rich gas has finally been cleared up. That pesky mineral patch there, blocking it.
Well, we sit and wait to see what we do next, as High Templars will continue to gather up. Maxpax is obviously in just a very comfortable spot. Mothership going to be coming online, makes it even better for him here as well. So get that Mothership up, get the Immortal popping, the Archon and the Shield upgrade coming through as well. Plus 3 missiles. Again, Lurkers from Dark, but Maxpax at this point is just taking an extra base, being very safe, still setting up those Zealot run-bys and letting them do their thing.
Yep, the Zealots don't add too much into his main army, so I like that he always sends them across, because he has more of a poking army, has a very ranged army, and he wants to make it hard for Dark to engage on top of him with the Storms, so the Zealots constantly going forward would be more annoying than anything for him. So I like that he always sends them by himself, which forces Dark to split his army, and that also forces, or that leads to better engagements at the front. Needs to watch out there a little bit. I don't think he can run up that ramp against the Lurkers, but he can run up that ramp. There's no Lurkers there. And the 5th base once again gets cancelled by the Zealots as well. I think this is a little bit of copium here from Dark.
Yeah. I mean, he's losing bases, he's losing drones. I mean, he is going to try and camp out on Lurkers and basically force Maxpax to bake some Tempests. It's kind of where we're at, but Maxpax can very comfortably do that, so it's not really too much of an issue.
I also think the only base that is really truly mining can simply be stormed from the low ground, and there's not much he can do about it. Like, the moment Maxpax realizes that storms can reach her, I think he's just gonna storm the drones.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Yep. One should be able to do that if he wishes, as we're going to see the Mothership actually going to pop cloaking. Apparently that's good enough to convince Dark that he should be out of this game. And we get tied up 1-1 between Maxpax and Dark here. So this one, yeah, getting tied up. Gonna go to game 3, and no one in a huge advantage just yet. There's 2 very different games to get to this point as well.
2 different games, but definitely Dark always in the driver's seat in terms of strategy, and he doesn't want to let Maxpax play his normal game. I think that is a cool thing that we can already see, and probably a trend that will play or continue throughout the series. I saw Maxpax, this game was supplied for 1 minute and 47, which I have never seen before. That's truly goes to show that he was outside of his comfort zone, because 1 minute 47, and most of that was earlier on obviously, is quite a huge number. Usually I don't see that from any programmer besides myself, which I am terrible when it comes to supply blocks.
That's he was supply blocked a couple times early, obviously just with weird stuff going on and everything as well, so be a factor. As we just wait for a lobby to come through.
I wish I would say who's not accepting.
Yeah, I know.
Because the Chinese, so for those of you that don't know, the Chinese people always host a massive party and then everybody in the party has to accept to start the next game. But it doesn't say who's the one person that's not accepting always.
And sometimes,
as a player, it's very frustrating.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not even their fault because they just came out of the game like a second before they hosted. Because you can host before everyone's out of the game, which obviously makes no sense, and then you get stuck because they never get the invite. But yeah, it'd be really nice if you could just see, so you could just kick them and then host again and then just invite them back after or something. Like, there's so many better ways to do it, but yeah, it's rough. It's also difficult when you've got like 14 casters in the lobby.
It is difficult. Shout out to Kukuros for the 5-month resub. To Wardy.
Thanks, mate. Did my job for me. What a life.
It has to be done in between the games. gotta give love to the people.
You know what it is? I'm so used to like when I'm co-cast, I just ignore all subs. Just like I'm just so used to that being like how I do it.
Yeah, I understand that as well, but now I can actually see
them.
Yeah,
I know. Just yeah. All right, we're going to go Amygdala for this game number 3. So we're all tied up, and we have in the top right-hand side the red Zerg player, who, as you said, has been trying to command the strategy aspect of this series. It is Dark.
And his opponent, a top 2 Protoss player worldwide. Many call him the best Protoss in the world. It is Maxpax.
I think you brought up a good point, though, where it's like Maxpax likes to kind of do his thing, and he's most comfortable when he just gets to follow his kind of great plan. And so Dark trying to get in the way of that early is a very good way to potentially give him an advantage back, to potentially, throw Maxpax off in a big in a big way.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously play a lot of ladder against Maxpax, but I used to stream a game where I queued into Maxpax and Special told me to go for a drone scout, so I was just like, okay, whatever, I'll just drone scout. And it actually threw him so far off his build, made him quite uncomfortable. That was like the worst game I've seen him play against me. And he just got destroyed. And all I did was scout with the drone and harass him. Yeah, he was so perplexed by why I would even do that. That, he just was completely off his game. Yeah, the AI couldn't comprehend just a simple stupid move, because there is no reason to drone scout, obviously.
Yeah.
That he was probably... he was occupied thinking, and in Starcraft, even though it is a strategy game, you don't really want to be thinking. You have a lot of stuff that automatically happens in your head, and you usually tend to know what to do without really having to actively think about it. And the more you think, the slower you play, the more mistakes you make usually.
Well, that's why it's a difficult game, right? You gotta think, and you gotta be able to do things without thinking, and it ain't easy.
It ain't easy, yeah. You don't have to tell me.
Yeah. It ain't easy at all. This one just goes, I mean, Amygdala, again, that kind of gold base can be kind of a factor on this map and this matchup, right? So something to think on later on if we get to that stage. Do you think there's many more things Dark can try to kind of throw Maxpax off with in these games that he's not already used?
Well, he still has his Queen Ling Knight Assaults, but I'm not even sure if that would throw him off his game, because you can hold that with just a normal opener. I think there are some mass Ling run-bys that he can try to go for, maybe some Ling Bing counterattacks that Dark likes to do as well. I think that's the type of stuff that I'm still expecting. Maybe he will try once more in the series where he can try to block his opponent's natural. Other than that, I think we're mostly done with the early game stuff. Neon is the only map where you can actually take a gold base early. And yeah, this map I actually thought... I mean, I think this map is slightly good for Protoss, but Harstem felt so heavily. I casted this map recently with Harstem, and he felt so heavily that this map was terrible for Zerg that I'm starting to see it a little bit now, but Zergs tend to not veto it. Zergs tend to just veto bigger maps, simply because we have a lower chance of finishing our opponents on those maps.
And a couple of Adepts going to get some drones. As the Zerglings pull across, one Adept will go down already. So on just falls. Again, the Queens and the drones still building up. Hatchery coming through. Gateway will go into the wall off as well. So just going to put that in position. And yeah, Oracles will be popping out, and Feelings will just test the waters across the map as they come to the other side.
Yeah, I think that was an okay trade for both players, but that was uncharacteristic. I think if Maxpax kited a little bit better there with the adapts, he still would have lost it, but he would have killed at least 2 more links. So, well, this is on West, right? So maybe it's because of that. Maybe it was a bit of a ping issue. Either way, decent. First 2 adapts from Maxpax, also okay defense from Dark. Wouldn't really say I favor either player heavily there. Maxpax now tries to commit in. And that's once again good defense by Dark. Defending it well with his first 2 queens. He has a Spore ready in the main base. No Spore at the third base. So very, very standard defense. Dark killing a big supply block now though. Not a single O-Lord on the way, and that one really hurts.
Queen's going to be pushing the Oracle around to the left. Oracle on the bottom side getting pushed around 2. Nexus halfway done. Probe still building. And we'll see what Dark does from his lair. But the Twilight Council starts from Maxpax. This all starts to look pretty darn normal. And looks like we might get from the kind of start of the game, a very regular, just kind of ZVP developing.
Yeah, no +1 melee, so maybe quick Hydras from Dark. This lair is a bit too late to go for some weird Nidus, although that really hasn't stopped Dark before, and I've seen him go for Nidus even with this lair timing. But if I had to predict what he's going to do now, I would say Hydra first. Just a quick Hydra, then get up Hydras and go from there.
He's going to get there. Oracle takes some shots. Creep Tumor does not even go down, so the Oracle just going to be low on HP. And the Blink and the +1 starts from Maxpax, so you can get those upgrades started right from the get-go here. Get that underway, and away we go. Gates in the Robo Facility coming up as we speak.
The Robo Facility is actually quite early. I wonder why he's going for that. It might be Colossus, actually. I haven't seen Maxpax play Colossus in quite some time. Oracle is out of position, no shield battery here, which means that the Adept dies against the Link counterattack. 2 workers also die. Now the Oracle is back at home. It's forced to activate itself, and a lot of mining time lost here as well. That was a very, very good Link backstab by Dark. I think that equalized the game. The reason Dark was a little bit behind was purely because of his own supply block. But now I would almost say he's a bit ahead, because those Maxpax lost a lot there. 3 workers, a lot of mining time, and Adept. It has to be Robo Bay, right? Or else why is the Robo so early?
Yep.
Yeah.
Robo Bay. It's a good spot. Early Robo Bay's going to be some Maxpax playing into the Colossus. As Dark, unfortunately, given his Hydra Den a cuddle, 5 drones are not actually going to be useful. Touching the Hydra Den. Fix that, and he does that now. And we do have, I've mentioned, obviously, then the Hydras are popping out. Upgrades are coming through from them. Roachworm coming up as well. So Dark is going to have Hydras quickly, but his opponent having Colossus on the way soon. Going to be a good answer to those Hydras in the lanes.
Yes, if Game 1 was a very good builder matchup for Dark, Game 3, the one we're at currently, is a very good builder matchup for Maxpax. Dark wants to all-in with Roach, Ling Hydra, Ravager. The way Dark does it is always he adds a late Roach horn and then starts to add Roaches. If Dark realizes there's a Robe, he should instantly forget about the attack and instead try and go into Lurkers, and then it's not that bad for him. Because Lurkers are good against Colossus. But if he doesn't understand and he actually runs into the Colossus, it's bad for him. Okay, I'm not sure if he scouted it, but he actually starts the Infestation Pit, and that's very important.
Yeah, gonna get some important tech on the way. Ability to go into Hive, get Vipers out to deal with the Colossus a little bit is gonna be a huge move in your favor. As the +2 attack, so Thermal lands on charge. All coming up as well. The Stalker's gonna step up. They're gonna get rid of a little bit of creep spread. They're gonna get rid of a Queen nearly. The Lings and the Hydra still trying to move over. As the Stasis Wards will start to pop, and yeah, I mean, Maxpax trying to poke about, but Dark getting himself time to get into that Infestation Pit, as you mentioned, to get the tech up from there.
It's also just a single Robo, so he's just gonna have 1 Colossus at first and then 2 eventually. So if Maxpax wants to inflict damage, he will need to go before that usual critical amount of Colossus where you have 3 or 4. These are decent trades, but honestly it's not that many Stalkers. The reason it's not that many Stalkers is because he went for that early Robo that really cuts into your Stalker production. Dark also realizing that now, starting to attack. He needs to watch out though. The Colossus are for him still hidden unless he paid attention towards the natural.
Well, Hydra's actually going to be really careful here. They're stepping so far forward with the Colossus here. You can obviously laser down a bunch of those Lings and Hydras quickly, so Hydra's about to get their speed, going to be able to back away more quickly. Did not walk into that next stasis, which feels very, very decisive. If it had poured a bunch of units there, that could have been rough. As, yeah, Stalker's going back the other way, and a little bit of energy overcharge on the Oracles and so on. Going to keep those healthy, and Maxpax still poking around the front as Hive is about to be done.
Yeah, this is a rough spot for Dark because he needs to chase this army if he wants to engage, and the army is outranging him, and Maxpax is just messing stasis wards on the back of it. So he's dealing more damage to the Zerg units than the Zerg units are dealing to him, and he always retreats towards the stasis ward. So all of these fights, theoretically, Maxpax doesn't need to lose any units, but obviously it's difficult to micro everything perfectly. Zealot run by arrives at Dark's third base. He already has some roaches in position, so that should be a decent trade for Dark. But can he fight the Colossus Stalker army at the front? It doesn't look like he can get on top of it. And I don't think he even has his Vipers on the way. Now the first two Vipers are restarted. It will still take quite some time until those actually pop out. And up until then, Maxpax can pretty much trade for free with the army that he has.
Yeah, well, just going to be seeing the Colossus continue to do exactly that. The laser beams putting in some work. The Vipers are coming up, but we're going to have ourselves a Prism here shortly as well to help with this all, and even more Zealots coming through. Maxpax's army really feeling like it can trade for days right now. The Force of Dark just does not reach those Colossus. He's desperate for these Vipers to get some energy to come forward, but he lost so much in this process, already hurting heavily at this point. Going to be rough for him.
Yeah, Maxpax needs to watch out a bit. He's floating a lot of resources, which should be in the army right now, but it is currently not fighting for him. Oh, it's even lost a lot of Stalkers. They're moving forward, trying to snipe the Viper. He now starts up Storm. He really needs some High Templars. The moment he has High Templars, his army once again is way better than the one of Dark. And Dark really needs to start Lurkers. I'm not sure if he even has a Lurker then.
He does not.
He does not. So the moment you're up against Storm plus Colossus with Roach Hydra Viper, I don't think he's gonna be happy. So Dark preferably wants to fight right now. Like legit right now he wants to attack. He obviously doesn't know that Storm is not done, but he just has to hope at this point. Dude, this is scary for Maxpax. He has a lot of army on the left side, ready to run by. And all of these High Templars are just wasted supply. Dark even gets the Abduct on the Colossus. Oh, and he morphs into Archons, which signifies, Dark, that there is no Storm done yet, and that the supplies are looking good for Maxpax, but his army is just bad right now.
Yeah, Dark is going to keep on advancing forwards. At the very least, he's getting this base to the right side. He's trying to chase. Obviously, units getting caught in stasis, slowing down the advance. He'll stop to try and finish off that Nexus. There was also Maxpax pushing away some units on the left-hand side during this. Space goes down, puts Maxpax down at 3 bases with the 4th base on the left side now re-establishing. Storm is about to be done, but at this point in time, we have got 1 High Templar on the map. So not a lot of Storms available. Now that Storm is actually available to be used, and Maxpax is getting chased back around the other direction. Those Vipers already back home, regaining some energy so they can get going again. The Zealots do a little bit, but not too much. And Dark has a fantastic shove back across the other side.
Yeah, he needed that in order to even have a chance at this game. Storm now is done. There are 2 Storms on the left-hand side. This army should still be better for Dark. The Archon goes down right away. It's simply an Immortal and a High Templar standing there with the next Archon about to finish up. On the right side, Maxpax could honestly blink forward, and I think he should. He instead is gonna try to save his left side base. I'm not sure if he's even in time to save it. I think Maxpax has made a couple crucial mistakes too many, and he let that game slip. He was floating a lot of resources. He could have started Storm like legit 2 minutes before he started it without it affecting his unit count whatsoever. And then the attack on the right side would have never worked because he would have had like legit 8 Storms. But with those Storms not being in time, Dark's army is now still better than Maxpax's. However, if Maxpax manages to max out, I still favor him. It's gonna be hard though to get there.
Well, Mothership coming up at least. Dog is going to keep up the pressure as he starts to open up some rocks on the upper left-hand side. A chance to push into that newer 4th base. This was the replacement 4th from losing the one on the 6 o'clock. So Dog going to try and push in over here. We'll have those couple of Vipers. He's not far from the +3 missiles, but that ain't ready yet. And of course, this time Maxpax does have Storms to utilize. See how Dog does as Maxpax's army. You can see it's just not very large. He does step into that Storm initially, gets an Abduct on an Immortal. So important unit to Abduct initially. He's going to go and just drop a Blinding Cloud with his next Viper before it goes down. He's going to break this base, and so Maxpax cannot keep this very important piece of mining and economy alive for himself. Storms here are kind of a mix of successes, as we do see the Hydras lunging their way out of trouble sometimes as well. Dark is going to keep on chasing. The High Templar's out of energy, so it's not a bad time to be chasing. As there's one more Storm coming down, though. And does that dissuade Dark? I mean, Dark is really sending this.
Yeah, Dark is overstepping. He doesn't need to keep going. Maxpax will be out of resource. At the same time, he lost 15 workers. Maybe that is what made him feel forced to run into Maxpax's army there, but he way overstepped. And now he's down in army supply, and all of a sudden Maxpax has turned it around with a simple Zealot run by towards the forward base of Dark. And then Dark just overcommitting. And now in low economy scenarios where Dark also has not only lost his army, but also lost most of his economy, I always favor the Protoss because they can, of the 6 gases that they have, make a lot of High Templars, which is just the best thing you can do with the gas. The best thing the Zerg could do in theory would be Lurkers, but as we said earlier, there is no Lurker then, so I can't really do much.
Yeah, and that was just, he did everything he needed to. He got the 4th base, and then for some reason, he got absolutely obsessed with the idea of pushing towards that ramp and pushing up that ramp. And that obviously costs him in a big, big way at a big, important point in this game.
Yeah, Dark trying to circumvent the army of Maxpax needs to watch out that he doesn't get flanked by Maxpax's army, because Maxpax can simply recall as well. He leaves some stalkers here to try and deny some gold-based mining, which I like. Did he recall parts of his army? I don't think he did.
The ship's on the way back over there. A few stalkers left behind. Hydra's just going to lunge away. As again, Dark trying to just get rid of some eco and move on, but he's the one losing a lot of drones, loses a hatchery of his own. 15 minutes on the amygdala, and we're really in a scrappy scenario with Maxpax, who has a little bit of tech that should work well in a scrappier scenario. Dark with just units that are good in numbers, but how many of those numbers can he really amass at this stage? Can he work his way through the tech of Maxpax? Pretty intense few moments as yeah, Dark is oversaturated on the bases that he does have. Losing that base on the right is going to suck for him.
Good counterattack once again by Dark. Maxpax is a bit too eager to move out. He also drops those time warps. Very, very... Like, it's very trigger happy on those time warps. He loses 14 workers, 5 zealots, and a High Templar for completely free on the left side, which is the next turn in this back and forth slobber knocker here that we have on Amygdala. And he's forced to recall, oh no! An extra Archon goes down, and Dark with a simple army split completely turns this game on its head. I would have told you this game is 80% 20, maybe even 90-10 for Maxpax, in Maxpax's favor. And with that simple army movement, and army split off Dark, he's now once again back. I still think Maxpax's army is better, but Dark will continue to always base trade. So now it's not easy for Maxpax anymore, because Maxpax will be forced to split his army, and the question is, how exactly do you split your army? He doesn't have a lot of map presence, so he's also lacking map vision and the knowledge of how exactly Dark split his own army.
Roach is getting caught in the center, gonna go for the recall here, so...
That's a misclick.
That is, yeah. Not what I was like, trying to process, because I see the units underneath the mothership recalling, and the mothership is the one recalling. I don't quite know what's happening, but yeah, misclick in a pretty bad situation, as we are going to just see that going on cooldown there, and Dark is already attacking on different sides. I mean, Maxpax is going to be able to pincer in onto this bottom right army, so Dark kind of has to just commit through to the base, or onto those units a little bit harder. I just don't think he's going to win this fight at all. Storms keep coming down, the Hydra's getting softened up. The units breaking into the natural have done so extremely slowly, and Dark supply is now plummeting.
Dark supply is plummeting. This was beautifully done by Maxpax. As I said before, the only way Dark can win is if he base trades. He needs to always threaten to base trade, because he's not going to win a straight up fight, and then he will eventually outmine Maxpax to the point where he can win the game. But Maxpax pretended like he was attacking. He still left a bunch of Stormers at home, and then he used the army to come in from the back. And yeah, Dark was simply overcommitted with his counterattack. He wanted to base trade there, which was, I agree, the best play, but he maybe went in there a little bit too deep, a little bit too early.
Wow. Full game on Amygdala. Absolutely fantastic. Back and forth one is... Yeah, Dark had moments, Maxpax had moments. Maxpax gets a few more moments. Dark made a couple more mistakes in the end. And that is going to be GG's. 18 minutes to get to a 2-1 lead now for Maxpax in this series, as we get ready to go into this 4th map in just a couple of moments. So Maxpax definitely getting things back in his favor, because now it also goes into Maxpax's server preference, where Dark must win this game as well. So as we enter El Dorado, that's going to be a factor to keep in mind.
Yeah, I mean, if we think about the way the map picks worked, the 3 best Protoss maps are now already out of the way. So, it's good that Dark got one of his map wins early on. But that's also why you usually pick your own map picks first. Now, however, he's set up for still a win if he wins on the 2 maps that are considered a little bit better for Zerg. I wouldn't even say El Dorado is necessarily Zerg favorite or something, or Ultralaf either, but those are at the very least even.
Yeah.
And this is also a map which you can make weird, right? You can expand towards the bottom, you can take gold bases, you can force your opponent to be a little bit more aggressive. You can go for drops. We've seen Swarmhost on this map from Serral recently. There's a lot of stuff that you can do on this map, which I would favor for Dark.
Alright, well, we are going into El Dorado. Map number 4 of the series. Maxpax with a chance to move through to the semi-finals of the winners bracket where he would play against Serral. Remember, the loser of this has to play Reynor in the lower bracket, which is obviously not going to be a ton of fun for anybody involved, so that's where we're at with all that as we dive into this next game of the series. In the bottom right-hand side, down a game, it's going to be our blue Zerg. It is Dark.
And in the bottom left, it's the Protoss player from Denmark for Systorm is Maxpax. Yeah, I would be so confused as well.
Yeah.
They have 2 out of their 3 people in their lobby. Am I hearing that correct?
I think you just share a Discord screen at this point.
Yeah, I don't think you... Or you
Say no.
restream. There...
Just say no.
There's no delay, right? Or is there a delay in this?
There's no delay. You can literally you can just
yeah, so
stream
he
to Discord.
Yeah, or you just restream someone else.
Yeah, too. They figured it out. It's too late.
I mean, now,
like
now you definitely don't do it. Okay, okay. For a second, I thought, okay, we re-game, and he leaves the game.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Maxpax and Dark are just like, this guy just randomly started saying okay as well.
Yeah, and the builders are already picked. It was 15 hatch against a potential block that didn't end up blocking, so...
Yep. Alright. Well, onto this game number 4 then. El Dorado, talk to me. I mean, obviously super interesting map. So many ways it can play out with kind of directions and where you expand to and so on. What are we thinking? Is there anything that we're kind of looking at in particular here, or kind of like diving towards? What are your thoughts?
So I believe that as a Zerg, I prefer expanding in the bottom of the map. So I would take the triangle 3rd base. I would mine the gold minerals, and then afterwards I try to play both sides. So I expand towards the top on the 4th because that's the safest 4th, and then I take the gold base with the 2 gases in the very bottom, and then you get quite some momentum from the extra minerals you mine from the gold base, and you can be aggressive. It's not good for early aggression necessarily, but for the later aggression, for like lurker timings, for massive doom drops, for swarm host styles, because the Protoss cannot, yeah, exactly, he cannot cover that area next to the main base where the drops are coming from. It's difficult to spot the Zerg going for these tactics, so it's an interesting map because you have basically the entire bottom side of the map in the mid game and late mid game for yourself, and that can make it difficult for Protoss to exactly know where you're attacking from very often.
Well, do you have the Adept going to go after the Ling, going to get that grab in the natural? Stargate coming online from Maxpax here as well. We got Adept, our Warp Gate, probes all coming through. The Adept gets a circle into the main base. And that link speed still coming up to being about halfway done as a hatchery and overlord and drones as well, all building up from Dark here for this game. For Void Ray from Maxpax going to be the interesting part of this, to push back some of that scouting information and potentially do something behind this that then Dark is not going to be able to see easily.
Yep. Yeah, Void Ray is good also later on for denying the overlords, and also the 4th base, no matter which one you take, is a little bit away from the rest of the bases, so you can try to use it to delay the 4th base a little bit. I don't mind seeing the Void Ray at all. On this map, he even goes in quite deep to see if he can get something done with the first Adept. He saw that Overlord, I'm very certain.
Yeah, he's going to turn around. Void Ray will indeed go and take its free kill and trying to interrupt Dark's setup as Dark makes 5 Overlords all at once to try and make his way out of this. So 5 Overlords all coming up, a couple Queens still coming through. And yeah, Maxpax just takes a 3rd base, which the feelings are going to spot in the next few moments. The first Oracle is about to spawn, though, and if that just moves up, it should be able to defend against those things quite easily.
Yeah, those Zerglings at best can try to go for the Adept kill. As the Overlord on the other side, another Overlord dies to the Void Ray. That's a mistake from Dark. I think he had enough time to bring all of his Overlords back. Now this one does not matter as much because, as you said, he made 5 Overlords at once, but that in itself is also a big mistake, so I give the early lead for sure to Maxpax after this early game.
Right, Council, a couple of gates, the Nexus all coming through, the couple probes coming about, Queen's gonna get there, and that Void Ray gets turned around. So, it's a couple of drones though, already being taken out. Now more drones as well. As we hit on the bottom side, we're gonna get to 4 drones killed. As the Resonating Glaives starts up as well.
Yeah, he did play Resonating Glaives on this map against Serral as well, but the map itself is actually quite bad for Glaives. It's very easy to wall at the front, so the Adepts have a hard time going in between the bases or even entering your bases, to be honest, and the rush distance itself is quite long. That being said, Dark's Roachhorn is super late, like super giga late. That's not safe at all against Resonating Glaives, so we'll see how it works out. I still think Maxpax needs to mine some minerals in the middle if he wants to realistically have a go at this, because otherwise Dark will simply wall the front. I can't believe that Oracle survived. It had 3 Queens on the top and 3 Queens on the bottom starting to attack it.
It was almost destined to die. It was meant to fall as Maxpax gets the Glaives up and running here. In the next few moments, the Adepts are making their way across the map, and the Roach Run will finish very soon, as the Overlords will finish as well. As Dark has been making so many Overlords preemptively here, he's going to have a lot of free supply, so he can just focus on spamming units out, and that's going to be what he needs, but the Adepts are already arriving as Roaches start producing.
Yes. That's a good sign for whoever is on the Adept. The last supply block actually saved Dark, because he didn't make extra drones. He had no idea this was coming, but he stopped at a perfect drone count by accident, more than anything else. Still, the Roaches are too late. The Glaive Adepts enter Dark's bases before he has any Roaches out. And he also couldn't block the Adepts from going towards his main or his natural, so all of his drones are running right now, and this is a disaster of an early game from Dark. I think it all started with the 5 Overlords at once. He already was behind from where he was supposed to be, and then he obviously tried to cut some corners, but it ended up not working out well for him, because Maxpax did go for the Glaives. 13 workers went down, and Dark is... I mean, he's very far behind in economy right now.
Yeah, not really much to add to that. This is disastrous for Dark, down 15 workers. He's obviously not on some kind of amazing tech. He's going to throw an Infestation Pit down, and I can only guess maybe he wants to try and see Swarm Host or something to try and pull him back. Because I mean, he's just dead, right? Like, I mean, teching into Infestation Pit seems almost crazy when he's already behind. Plus one on Blink on the way from Maxpax, and as Maxpax gets aggressive, it's going to be extremely tough for Dark to hold on.
Yeah, I think realistically the best thing he can do is try to turtle to lurkers. I mean,
yeah,
he can try to. I mean, he can try to go into Swarmos, but then he is risked that if Maxpax decides to move out, like ever.
Yeah, maybe the turtle to lurkers is definitely the best route to go on right now. As the Temple Archives comes up from Maxpax, so he'll add himself some extra setup in this. He's obviously clearly aware he's ahead, just going to play it very safely. As Prism pops out, he can at least be pressuring with the Stalkers, so he's going to begin to do that right now. Coming across the map as Dark is just stacking up some money and waiting to show us what he's going to spend it on. Swarm Host it is.
Swarm Host it is. Also hitting another supply block. This was not the finest games that we've ever seen out of Dark, but yeah, how does he get the Swarmers across the map is now the next question, as Maxpax is beginning to be active with his Stalkers. He's not even very committed with these Stalkers. He's floating decent amount of minerals and now is teching into Storm, +2 Immortals on the way. Okay, there it is. There's the Nidus. Because he can't walk past these Stalkers with his Swarm Host. I think that's not an option. He's also trying to take this fort base. This one is very optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, this is never going to get up. Maxpax takes his time to come and deal with it, though, at least. If your Adepts in the Prism going to go down the bottom side. As our Roaches just going to move around the front again. Immortal Charge all coming up, +2 attack and Storm. Get that Prism into the main base, so Maxpax poking at the front, going to be dealing damage in the main, going to force the Swarm Host to be used defensively. There's never a good sign. Defensive Swarm Hosts very rarely work out.
Yes, defensive Swarmers. I mean, they just delay whichever attack is coming towards him. Good pick off there on the War Prism. That one was actually huge. That means he needs to leave no units now in the main base. That A move with the drones was very questionable from Dark. I don't even think these setups would have been microed otherwise. So he loses 14 extra workers. He's up in supply right now, but he's very all in. And he's not even across the map with all of his units. If he gets a fort base knight with that locust wave, which he won't because the knight has got killed, he then still would be miles behind, just to give you guys a better picture or a better understanding of
just how dead he is.
What the situation is looking, yeah.
Yeah, not ideal in this light, as Stalkers are going to have to blink away from those roaches. And we do have a couple more locals going to pop up. The Stalkers are going to pull back. We do have our charge about to finish. 7 more roaches and plus 2 missiles coming through. Nice Day is going to catch some of those roaches, going to allow you to maybe continue this fight more than you could have done beforehand. Maxpax still got the blink. He has very low HP on a lot of those Stalkers. Actually going to try and pull up to the top where he's got reinforcements arriving. I'm going to say, some of the Stalkers just very low HP. Having to be careful about it, but he works his way around the upper right. He's going to find himself on the incoming 4th base of Dark top right, so he can pick away at this. And Maxpax is just running Dark around in circles.
Yeah. Sick play from Maxpax, now controlling Stalkers on both sides to make it impossible for Dark to get across the map with a Swarm Host.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what Swarm Host from behind looks like. Like, you just can't... if you even get across the map, somehow you die on your own side of the map.
Yeah.
But you can't even get across, realistically.
Oh, roaches are still popping out defensively. Stalkers going to see those small hosts actually going to start jumping on them, and Scribber Stalkers can always just move down south and blink over the mineral line on the gold if they need to get away to some safety, which is what they are seemingly kind of playing toward a little bit right now. Now units still gathering together, and we see another swarm host going down. Vordre is still active. Swarm hosts are popping. I mean, yes, Maxpax looks as though he's got this series under heavy control.
Yes.
Yeah. Maxpax takes it in the quarterfinals and is going to advance through to the winner bracket semis, where he will play against Serral for the 3rd time in a couple of weeks now. So yeah, pretty wild. Just Maxpax Serral becoming a frequent rivalry. It's very rare that that happens. So GG's, and that does lead us into the TVP section of the bracket now as well. Are you dipping out for the TVPs?
No, I'm done to cast TVPs. I like the matchup.
Okay, nice. Okay, cool. Then we're going to go to Korea, and we're going to have Hero versus Gumiho coming up for some Terran versus Protoss in the next few moments. We'll get that underway. And after that, we have Clem versus Skillous. So a couple of great matches still coming up, a couple more best of 5s in the Liuli Cup playoffs.
Do you think they already did the vetoes for this one?
I'm going to say almost certainly no.
Okay. And I'm just waiting for the party invite, and then if I have confirmation, I'll get a snack and some water.
Yeah, I need to stand up for a minute as well. Yeah, I want to see them starting to veto first at the very least.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yo, yes, username available. Thank you so much for the 10-month resub on the Prime. Appreciate it.
I think one thing that's also cool is that I believe Maxpax is getting better. The more he plays against these Zergs, he has played more against the Zergs in the recent 2 weeks than he usually gets to play against them. Because, as you said, since the patch, he hasn't even played against Dark, really. So, and against Serral or Reynor, he never gets to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has a hard time practicing against Zergs, because no Zergs are practicing with him. He sometimes asks me for customs, but I don't really have anything to practice for either, so... it is the matchup where he's the worst in, which makes a lot of sense because he has by far the least practice in the matchup. And the more he gets to play against these top-level opponents, I think the better he also gets at playing the matchup. I definitely think he's still evolving in that matchup as well. So I think it's cool to see that he looked very solid against Dark, and I'm very much so looking forward to the rematch between those two.
Are you in a chat channel? Because I can invite you to lobby.
I'm not, but I'm... Here, I message you.
It just says you're offline. Nice.
That's bad. Okay, I'll restart them.
Yeah, try restart. They've vetoed, so I'm gonna be RB real quick when they jump in the lobby.
Okay.
I can solo cast for a minute if you need a BRB. Whatever.
Yep.
So the maps are going to be Amygdala, Leylines, Frostline, Eldorado, Whispers of Gold. That order. And they're going to host this in a sec. Okay, everyone in lobbies. We can start.
I'm authenticating right now.
Oh, that's a classic.
I'm stuck on connecting. Okay, I'm in. I don't have a chat channel. Can you invite me?
Yeah, I see you.
Okay.
Sweet.
Nice.
I'll be up here because I can join from the phone.
Did he just say he can join from the phone? What type of hidden technique is that? What the hell? That's sick. That's actually so sick. Maybe he can press the enter key from his phone somehow. I don't know how, but it would be pretty sick.
Yo.
Hello. Did you just say you can join the lobbies from your phone?
Yeah, I just remote desktop to my PC, and then I can just click join.
That is actually so sick.
It's really useful if I need like go downstairs in the hosting. I just watch on my phone for the lobby to come up.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, I'll be right back as well.
Yeah, all good.
1 minute.
What's up, everyone? How are we doing? Couple of fun series to start the day off. So Reynor was some good fun. Maxpax Dark was very fun. Last game was probably the worst, but pretty good series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Got a bunch of people on the YouTube channel as well watching live right now. So hello to you guys. Just say hi. And yeah, we're gonna go and jump into this best of 5 between Hero and Gumiho. Hero, I feel like, has had the better of Gumiho the last few times they've played each other. Let me have a little peek. I feel like Hero's actually... I mean, he beat Gumiho 3-0 in the WardiTV Christmas Day games. Oh my goodness, Gumiho has a horrendous record against Hero. Gumiho hasn't beaten Hero since March. And has lost the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 series against Hero. Yeah, what I was thinking of was a string of WardiTV events where Hero went 2-1, 2-0, 3-0 against Gumiho. Hero beat Gumiho in the group stages of Master Coliseum as well. We remember that. We casted that too. And most recently, 14th of January, last week, Hero beat Gumiho again 2-0. So Gumiho has not been having a good streak against Hero, to say the least. He's definitely not been having this kind of this kind of magic he wants. We'll see what he can do in this best of 5, but Hero genuinely is playing very well right now, and clearly the trickiness of Gumiho that he sometimes relies on has just not been too much of a factor, so yeah. You can tell I missed a lot of lobbies from toilet breaks since I have that. I mean, it's just very useful to be able to remote into your PC from your phone anyways, right? It's like, you can do a lot of stuff with it. Like, when I forget to upload my YouTube video or something, or set it to go live, or if I'm out and I'm getting home late, I can turn my stream on. I have a lot of reasons to use it. It's very useful. It's very, very useful. Top right-hand side, though, let's get this underway. In the top right, our red Terran player is going to be Gumiho. And the bottom left, our blue Protoss player is Hero. I guess you guys won't see much on Lambo's side just yet, but fear not. I will describe in detail what's going on. Oh, you're back anyway.
I'm back. Yep, perfect.
Nailed it. Do you know that Hero is on a 10 series winning streak against Gumiho?
I did not know that. I would think that's a scary matchup for him, like if I just read the two names, but
yeah,
apparently not at all.
Yeah, I'm the same, right? Because like Gumiho's the kind of Terran, he can just steal maps off of you, and he can play fast, and he can play around, but apparently he just can't do it against Hero. I mean, Gumiho's had good TVP results over time as well, just, yeah, over the last 9 months, he's not had any luck against Hero at all, so that's a concerning stat coming into this series. We'll see if he can change it up at all. Once again to this Terran versus Protoss. Now first probe nibbles out an SCV, swap over SCV onto the barracks, and Hero just going to be as annoying as he can be for the early stages.
Yeah. Arsim told me the new go-to scout timing is a little bit later, but Hero still goes for this one. But that's also just very Hero-esque, just trying to be annoying wherever he can.
Yeah, that's such a hero thing to do, isn't it? Just, hey, can I be annoying? Yes, brilliant. He just likes getting across the map. He likes being able to control early. It is very much so like his Starcraft personality, just trying to be a nuisance in the early stages. Well, at any point, really.
Yeah, Gumiho did something cool there, which was he delayed the Marine. Not only can you get the CC a little bit earlier that way, but also can Hero not know then if it's a Reaper first or a Marine first. Because he stuck around for when the Marine would usually pop. And then he delays the Marine to make sure that Hero doesn't exactly know what he's up against. He obviously already knows now that it was the high ground CC though. So most likely this is a Marine expand. It would more likely be a Reaper if it was gas first and with a high ground CC. Then it's always a Reaper, but with a normal gas timing. I think Hero knows what to expect.
Well, Factory about a finish rect coming through. Twilight Council's halfway done. The Couple Probe Stalker and the Warp Gate coming up as well. And so Twilight Council. We see a lot of Blink right now in PvT. It is just such a popular way to play. So no surprise it's going to be how Hero starts this series off. Just so much utility you can get from Blink. Stargate's a little bit weaker against some things that can push you right now, and then it's still very good against like the Widow Mine drop and stuff, but a lot of Terrans are still trying to like Marine tank push and so on and so forth. Blink just gives you so many more options against those builds.
Yeah, a lot of these maps are also very good for aggressive Blink styles. Yeah. And we see Gumiho not going for a normal Widow Mine drop, instead he went one Hellion, Medivac, and straight Tech Lab. So I wonder if he's gonna make a tank right away. Or a Cyclone. Okay, there it is, a Cyclone.
Yeah. Just very high utility. And you can also go for the Cyclone drop and then get a tank follow-up as well. So if you start to do well with the Cyclone, you can just follow up and do extremely well afterward as well. So, yeah, definitely a good starting point. And let's just have the Medivac about to pop, and we'll see Gumiho heading across the map most likely here in the next few moments to put some pressure onto Hero. Hellion is going to find the probe, and the probe will go down in this bottom right-hand side, so the Hellion is shown its use, and it's going to hold the watchtower for a little bit as well.
I love that Hero was even controlling that probe with a stutter step to get an extra hit on top of the Hellion.
Yeah.
That was very cute.
Absolutely. As the Stalker's actually going to find the Medivac ahead of time. Marines will start to drop early. I mean, this is favorable to Hero in the sense that you get some damage on the Medivac, but then you do take a lot of damage on that Stalker initially as well. Now the Marine's unloaded, the Stalkers can kite, steps a bit too far forward there. I thought he was going to lose one. He's going to end up losing that one in the end anyways, but then he blinks across. Now he blinks underneath, and he is going to focus the Medivac, make sure that that can't retreat. 3 probes going down, but it costs Gumiho everything bar the Medivac, which is pretty expensive, honestly.
Yeah. One good thing is that he scouts not only where the third business, but also the specific timing of the third business with the Medivac. I also think Gumiho was very lucky there that Hero was greedy with a Stalker and he tried to kill that Hellion. So he was lacking one Stalker that should have been there in the defense. It would have been way easier for him if he had 3 Stalkers constantly kiting there. Especially with how early he saw or met the Medivac outside of his own base. So yeah, Gumiho preparing for a potential attack. He has tanks in good positions. He even is going triple tank before extra barracks. So Gumiho's stim is going to be so late. So if he wants to do that timing, it has to be either super early before stim, which I doubt he will try to hit, or very late.
Yeah. Not exactly ideal, as these few Stalkers are going to come through and they're going to whack away at the rocks and just start to open this space up a little bit as well. So we start to work through there. A few probes continue to chrono boost out. And yeah, we get charge and +1 as a follow-up already. So Hero quite clearly knowing where he wants to kind of follow up to, what his plan is going to be. We see all of that starting to take development right now. As that +1 attack upgrade is building through on the side of Gumiho.
Yeah, he has one Banshee ready to go in. He obviously knows from the early game that the Natural doesn't have a shield battery, so that's probably where the Banshee will hit. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just AFK that Banshee for a while and then come in if Hero does something on either the other side of the map or right before he moves out, to make it more difficult for Hero to chip away at Gumiho's push on Gumiho's side of the map.
Well, still stim combat and +1 all coming through. A couple of probes going down as the Banshee delivers some shots. Stalkers get underneath. The Banshee goes down already. And we get a couple of Zealots getting warped in. Charge, +1, all coming through. The Medivac is going to go boosting out onto the map as well, with the Cyclone inside of it. We'll just try and make some progress there, as again, the Sim Combat Shield and +1 upgrades all coming by at the moment from Gumiho. And, yeah, we put ourselves in a position here where, once that bio upgrades are done, we'll be able to see Gumiho kind of getting on the map, but Hero's already setting up with Zealots, he's setting up with counterattacks, he is doing all the right things to make this difficult for the Terran player.
Yeah, I really didn't like the way he used to Banshee. I have to say, he might have thought that Stalkers were out on the map, but he had no reason to believe that they were, and yeah. Obviously, if nothing else is happening, a player like Hero is not gonna lose a lot to a Banshee without any distraction. So I thought he would use it more as a distraction. Now he doesn't have a distraction, so the move out is gonna be harder, as you said. Look at the map vision of Hero, it's actually insane. Like, he sees everything, he has the observer ready, he has both the watchtowers, he has the war prism in a very safe spot as well, ready to go in for the counterattack. Moving out is gonna be a pain for Gumiho, so we'll see if he even tries to do it at all.
Yep. Nah, I mean, this is rough for Gumiho already. Like, I mean, Hero just has so much control. And to me, that's just so anti-Gumiho as well, right? Because Gumiho, to me, is this player who will play quickly, he'll play around the map, he'll try and be a bit of everywhere. But he's just not going to be able to try and do that very well at all. So now you're forced into these much larger armies, and that's not why I favor Gumiho against Hero in the slightest. So I think Hero taking all the precautions to put himself in a great place, and Gumiho in return had zero map vision. So he has no idea where these different groups of units are. Splitting up preemptively is going to be difficult. And he's going to see these Zealots coming in a little bit. He saw this army. Now you've got to figure out this split as the Prism also heads into the main base, and Hero is truly going to be kind of everywhere.
Yeah, that should be the one thing which should be good for Gumiho, because he was actually ready for this all along. He had a very good defensive setup. The question is, can he multitask well enough, and can he split his army? It was a great hold position in his own main base. Dealing well with the war prism in the main. And he's counterattacking. He moved out with a big portion of his army towards Hero's side of the map, and I'm not sure Hero knows about this.
Yeah, I think Hero actually did miss it because the vision that was in the top left kind of disappeared. He has a few Stalkers here, Colossus walking over. Is that going to be enough? Good force field catches a couple of units in the front. Widowmine gets the Observer, but that's not going to impact too much now, as we are going to be seeing Gumiho stepping away through the top side. Extended Thermal Land still coming online, +3 attack starting. Gumiho is down 24 workers after all of this, though, and so Hero is going to rebuild and replenish all the Zealots he gave up, whereas Gumiho is going to be hurting on the rebuild.
Yeah, Gumiho needs to do something, but Gumiho's army right now is very, very scary. Hero lost a lot of units and exchanged them for economy, but Gumiho's army right now is a bit better than the one of Hero, so Hero needs to watch out, trying to snipe the Vikings. The one thing that he has going for him is that there are 2 Vikings and he has 2 Colossus.
Yeah.
So he really needs to abuse the range of the Colossus to slow this push down for as much as possible.
That's why the Siege Tanks can do a lot for Gumiho, because they could deal with the Colossus as well. They can kind of zone them, but the Siege Tanks, for that to happen, need to be kind of pushed up in position, and that's what they're trying to do right now. As they push a little bit further forward, Hero losing a lot of Zealots here already, and is not really able to recover army-wise because he is losing Zealots and so on, trying to stop this push from coming through already. So, having some issues. Colossus just about saved by that War Prism. Necessary save, because you really do need these splash units to stay alive.
Yeah, the question is, did Hero buy enough time? He now also once again has a Guardian Shield on the sentry. He killed a lot of units before the Siege Tanks are moving forward. And the supply now is looking a lot healthier for Hero than it did before this push. I don't think his +3 is ever gonna finish, but I mean, his army is looking better and better with every Zealot warp, and a 3rd Colossus is out. And he's now gonna run it. He's gonna run it down. He goes into the army of Gumiho. 3 tanks are alive. I don't know why the War Prism is going head first into the army of Gumiho either. This was definitely not the prettiest fight. The sentry dies as well. Both Colossus are 1 HP. Once both of those disappear, it's only Stalkers. But can Gumiho go forward enough to kill both of them? They both survive.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, and that has to be it. I mean, Gumiho will have to commit so much to even get in range of these Colossus. Hero's economy was untouched throughout all of this. Yeah, this is where I thought Gumiho would attack initially.
I can't believe both the Colossus survive. I mean, they are such low HP. 1 HP is just ridiculous. And I mean, if they die, you're right, this army sucks. Like, you know, then it's basically, can he get through the Zealots? And there's a good chance he could have done. Now you've still got 3 Colossus, and that's just ridiculous. I mean, now you never win this fight. You can obviously try and base trade a little bit, jumping across the minerals, jumping onto this base. That's the right kind of play. But you're never going to win a big army fight anymore. There's no way.
Yeah, they are full on shields again. The one Colossus has 1 HP, the other one has exactly 2. I mean, that was legit one Marine hit away, both of them from dying.
One of mine's helping to deal with the Zealots on the other side, but it's still turning out to be an issue. The army here is melting, and Gumiho's hopes at the start of this series are going to be dying off, as well as Hero is able to take the first game of this best of 5.
Yeah. Interesting approach from Gumiho. Very often when I used to watch Byan versus Hero, we gave him the advice that Hero will run into you. Don't move out with like that weird amount of supply, because Hero usually plays very low worker count and then he runs into you. Back then he used to always attack into him with Storm, and then Byan played him in the team league, and he did exactly what Gumiho did this game. He just waited for Hero to suicide, counter-attacked, and won. So that is a legit strategy specifically against Hero. You could see he, no matter what, pretty much, even if the Terran does nothing, he still ran into him, and he wasn't on a high worker count himself, so... Hero not really punishing Gumiho for not moving out, and I think Gumiho, if he maybe microed it a little bit better, if maybe he split some units off to the gold base as well, just behind the gold base, you know, he maybe could have won this game even. I think that fight was very close.
Yeah, I honestly think if that if the Colossus die, it's completely different too. I mean, Hero did mess up that fight too, because if he keeps the Prism up and he micros the Colossus a bit, the Colossus also just stay alive much more comfortably, so he didn't even need to look out on them staying alive. That was a mistake he made already. Then he did need some fortune to kind of get over. But he got there, and here we are now, as we have Hero up a game. Still best of 5, of course. Everything in this tournament's best of 5 until the grand finals on Sunday, I believe. So, yeah, best of 5 here. And we'll see if Gumiho can step back, or if Hero will continue to, like I say, a pretty heavy streak of dominance against Gumiho. Not just in series, but I mean, a lot of the series they play, Hero, if it is a best of 5, is winning 3-0 or 3-1. So yeah, definitely a strong matchup for Hero as we go to ley lines from map 2. Bottom left, a red Terran player who will trail in this series is going to be Gumiho.
And his opponent, he won a lot of weekly cups. Can he also bring all of this to the big cups, the major tournaments? It is Hero. He was obviously quite close in Masters Colosseum, only losing 5-3 to Serral, and he came from the upper bracket there without any upper bracket advantage. Is there an upper bracket advantage in this tournament, do you know?
I don't know. I'm gonna say... I think probably there is. But I don't know for certain, to be honest. Might not be.
Yeah.
The last Liuli Cup had a upper bracket advantage, so I would guess there is, because it might stay the same organizer, etc. But maybe he's seen a different light and decided there shouldn't be one.
Okay, so up in the air to whatever the Chinese organizers feel like.
They might just roll a dice on the day, you know.
Maybe their favorite player ends up losing, and he's coming from the upper bracket. They just say, you know what, you need to win a second series.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's I mean, this tournament's already had group stages have changed dates, the playoffs have changed dates. So I can't even keep up with it myself, man. Like, I feel like I'm pretty well connected in Starcraft 2 and know what's going on, and I've had no idea what's happening. So yeah, no presumptions made.
Okay, fair enough. What do you think is the best of all the formats? If you go double elimination bracket in the grand finals,
I think just a 1-0 lead for the winner at bracket. I think it keeps the series. I feel like making someone win, like, I've never liked the idea of like a reset bracket where it's like you win a best of 5 and then you have to win like another series. I think like the winner bracket is of some advantage, and I think a map win is plenty enough in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, one map is quite big.
Yeah, I think one map's huge. Sometimes one map, and you can pick which map you've won on. Like, you get an extra veto as well. So like the lower bracket player gets 1 veto, and the winner bracket gets 2 vetoes, and then you pick maps maybe. But yeah, I think resetting series, I've never liked this. Just for StarCraft 2, like resetting a series and going back to like square one, the maps replaying stuff, like I just don't think it works.
Yeah, I think on paper this is the most fair way you can do it, obviously, because the one guy already lost his life, basically. and the other guy never lost. So I like in fighting games, for example, I think this is by far the best thing they can do. They just reset it, but it's a much quicker game. It's not exactly the same as we have it in Starcraft.
Yeah.
There's obviously upsides and downsides for everything. For example, if you give the 1-0 lead, then that's you really win an even series, right? Then the one guy actually has an advantage during the series, whereas the bracket reset wouldn't give him an advantage. So you still just have to play better in one of the series.
Yeah.
You can also just not give any advantage, and then you have an evenly matched grand finals, and you just say, hey, but the other guy had to go through more games, and that's why maybe he's more exhausted, had less time to prepare, and that's the advantage. There's a lot of different approaches, I think. All of them have their ups and downs.
Yeah, I just hate the reset. I just think like replaying the same maps in StarCraft 2 starts to get like very mind gamey and weird, and it's like a situation you just don't prepare for. So it's I don't know. Oracle off the proxy comes in for the first SCV, going to go to the main base, and there's some hurt SCVs here off earlier, so we're going to get ourselves a bunch of easy to kill SCVs, but there the Widowmine hides, and it is going to get the first Oracle after 4 SCVs go down. 4 SCVs would have been nice if this Oracle escapes, but losing an Oracle is always going to be rough, especially when you proxy it. It just eats up, eats into you a little bit, because you always want that Oracle for later in the game. It's always going to be useful.
Yeah, this is terrible for Hero. Also really cool by Gumiho that he didn't pull all of his SCVs to the Widowmine, because I see this very often, and then obviously it's apparent where the Widowmine is, and you're never going to kill that Oracle, so he just stayed there with the SCVs. He lost more SCVs because of it, but he figured, my Marines will come and defend this side of the base, and because he already had 1 HP SCVs on the right side, the Oracle went in deep and died. This time though, Hero sets off the Widowmine with an Adept, kills 3 workers for an Adept. Still a lot of units that he's losing, and a lot of firepower against this first push, against this first pressure that Gumiho will have.
Yep, the Widowmine's still there as the Oracle has to skirt around the bottom, loses a lot of HP on the Oracle, so it's going to be a little bit tougher to bring that into play a bit further down the line. And yeah, Blink is coming up to being about halfway done. Stimpack is about to finish from the side of Gumiho as well, so we will have this push of Gumiho. He's got a lot of army supply. He definitely has potential coming across the map.
He's trying to boost behind that Oracle, but he sees the Stalkers and he needs to go back. I believe boosted medevac is as fast as an Oracle, so if you're in range and you unload, all of the Marines get to shoot a couple times, but this is really where Hero needs to delay the push. His Blink is not done yet, so Hero can't really fight. Combat Shield's also not done, so these Marines are very squishy. That's why it's important for Hero to be out on the map. Preferably focus fire down the Marines one at a time. Only a single force field is there.
Stasis though as well. Catches the Marines on the other side. Yeah, anything that buys you time right now for Hero is huge. Pops the Revelation so you can see a little bit more easily what is going on. Let me just see these Stalks continue to step back as Blink is going to finish up, and well, that's going to help a lot as we go to deal with the Liberator. And Gumiho still has a lot of army supply. Like, Hero is very far from being clear of this right now, but it's been a good start to buy himself some time and give himself a chance.
Yeah, I think he's giving up the base. He's going to try to intercept the reinforcements with the Stalkers for now. Maybe even go on to fully counterattack with the Stalkers, because he can't engage into this army cost effectively. If he does, he's going to be very far behind, so he gives up the base. He says, okay, I'm trying to do this as cleanly as possible, try to get a clean fight where I will actually completely destroy the army, and then I can maybe do some counter-aggression or something to get back into it, but it's just... he doesn't have the right set of units to do it. He doesn't have a lot of charge slots, he's supply blocked. He might have a Guardian Shield, but Gumiho is now even sending the extra reinforcements. If those extra reinforcements join up with the main army, the game's over, but I think Hero should not let that happen.
Yeah, I mean, Hero's just going to try and keep those units from coming across. A couple of units come out of stasis. He'll warp in another round of Stalkers here, charge. Going to finish, and then the question is, how do you ever get enough Zealots on the field to make this happen? So he's going to keep moving with these Stalkers as Gumiho begins to back it off. Hero needs to be careful not to get these Stalkers stuck in between two forces, as he will blink away to the side. This does allow Gumiho to join everything up together. Starts a third CC just now. The +1 attack upgrade on the way too. Now Gumiho's decision as to what he would like to do to just sit back and defend. Is he going to try and come forward again? What is his next play?
Yeah, I wonder. Gumiho doesn't really need to do anything else. He is equal in workers. I think his position is quite good in this game.
Yeah.
And his production wasn't that big, so I don't think going now is the right play, because he opened up with only 2 regs, not 3, so His production was lower than what the Protoss has right now, and good blink in from Hero. He even goes in for a Stasis Ward, I think. Would like that to be a little bit more forward, but he wants to use it as an escape option. Kills both Tech Labs, denies the concussive shells, and is probably just gonna recall it now.
Yeah, cool play though, right? Just snuck around the army of Gumiho, finds a way to do some damage. Tech Labs going down, slowing down some of the production. Just a great move that kind of gives you a few more seconds in the game, right? And this is going to start being a very close game, I feel like, given a bit of time. So a few more seconds here and there can start to make a big difference.
Yeah, I thought this would be way better for Gumiho, but now that he has to start four add-ons at once, he's not producing anything right now. So instead of Terran from a lead, where they usually, their production comes online and they end up being 30 supply up, 40 supply up, and then they can just kill the Protoss. Right now, Gumiho is not producing anything. And the supplies are actually evening out rather than Gumiho widening the gap.
Yeah. Well, the Storm +1 continues to come through. Just going to be seeing the few Stalkers still moving around a little bit as well. Probe's going to come across towards the third base, and it's going to be seeing our +1 and Storm continuing to come by. So Hero trying to get up to some tech that should help him quite a bit here, as our Biotank force now pushes up the left-hand side as well. And just going to get that all gathered together. Another big shot from Gumiho. Would love to get here before Storm is done, but Storm is going to be finishing, and so Hero will have that as part of his defense.
Yeah, Hero's on the map with the Stalkers, but I don't think he knows where exactly Gumiho's at right now. He's also starting up a roboway. He realizes now with a scan. This is the first time where he sees where the army is really at. He also has the Warpism there to save the High Templars. This is, I don't think this is going to be a pretty fight for Gumiho if he moves forward. He realizes how many High Templars there are and he goes back. He needs to buy time for his Ghost Academy now. It's not Hero the person that's needs to buy time now. It's Gumiho that doesn't want to fight.
Yep, that risk into the getting towards the Storm has worked out as we try and catch a couple of units already with some Storms. High Templars to try and catch this army as it comes back across, which is not a bad idea because right now the tanks aren't sieged. As the tanks do start the siege, Hero's already on top of this third base. He's going to storm towards the siege tanks. He's got more High Templars available, but the tanks did not go down. Ghost Academy is going to be burning. Stasis Sword actually saves it from the storm. Ghost Academy falls with only a single ghost building.
Yes, this is one of those moments where, as a pro gamer, you just look at your turret, you're oversaturated there, you realize you want the Ghost Academy, you just build it there because it's quick to build. But that will that will have negative effects. Lasting effects for this game, as he will only have a single Ghost against a very High Templar heavy Hero who has 10 High Templars on the map. 10 High Templar against a single Ghost.
Yep, that's going to be very difficult. But once again, I think Hero has missed the majority of this army coming across the map, so he's going to have no idea that Gumiho is about to stim into his third. Maybe Hero can commit onto this position as well, and we just send this to a base trade, which maybe I like a bit more for Hero, because he's going to be like full committed to the base trade, whereas Gumiho's just half committed. It means that Gumiho loses a lot of army very quickly. The position makes it difficult to move through, but we are going to clean up. At the same time, Hero is losing his third base, and that army continues towards the natural. Hero going to drop a recall of the High Templars. He's going to storm this counterattack to death. At least that is the plan. Mass High Templars to try and save the day. Colossus on the other side is going to start getting some Marines as well, as the High Templars chasing down Bio aggressively is something you don't see every single day, and Gumiho's third base has been pushed off location.
Yeah, I'm not even sure who this favors right now. The worker counts have equalized. They're once again 3 base against 3 base, but Gumiho's third base obviously is flying. Hero also only has the 3/4 base instead of a real base, and he can't mine the gas from it right now.
Yeah, I think I do like it for Hero, because I think he also is seemingly aware that these medevacs are still on the map somewhere. He gets underneath. They've just used their boost, by the way, so they cannot save themselves. And Hero going to play a little bit cautiously. He is now going to blink forward and gets rid of 2 more, including one that had units inside. That's a big moment, and that's why Gumiho loses a lot of supply. Those medevacs are going to be in a rough spot. As with Liberators, though, and a siege tank, I don't know if Hero has enough to go pushing in. He says he's going to give it a go, though. I guess he can blink in with the Stalkers. He's going to drop a feedback. Storms come through as well. Zealots from the right-hand side. Okay, it looks as though Hero's going to have plenty in the end. Got a little bit scared of the siege units. Didn't need to be.
Dude, it's so many High Templars. GG squad. Hero takes the lead. That was a crazy amount of High Templars, dude. I mean, there was no splitting against it. Also, Hero didn't even mind storming single units anymore at the end. He was just enjoying himself. But yeah, that Ghost Academy dying was very bad for Gumiho. That's for sure. And I love the recall on the High Templars, because his army can't win a base trade since half of his supply is High Templars. He had like legit 10 High Templars and 10 Stalkers. So it's very cool that he only recalled the High Templars, kept all of the DPS units at the front that could still deal extra damage to Gumiho. Good decision making there by Hero.
Alright, well, we will dive into game number 3. Hero leads 2-0 already. Looking fantastic so far. And as we head into this third game, we'll see if Gumiho can finally get on track. I mean, he's obviously having situations where he can do well. He's getting into some good positions. He's just struggling to really win games, I guess. And I mean, this game too, especially, I think he had a lot of good moments. Just you were able to get the better of him once again.
Yeah. Yeah, his build didn't even look that crazy committed, and he killed the third base with it, which should mean that he's ahead, but I mean, the game started with Hero losing his first Oracle as well. Didn't start pretty whatsoever. So, if he wins that game, that must really sting for Gumiho's confidence. It was a bit of a different build, though, so we'll see what he has in store for us in game 3.
Crossline for the map, base is a little bit more spread, maybe something Gumiho can take advantage of at some point. We'll find out as we head to the bottom left, where we are with the Red Terran, who is down 0-2. Looking to bring it back, it is Gumiho.
And his opponent is the first of his 3 match balls that he has in his corner. It is Hero for Vibu Gaming.
Well, Crossline is going to start with an SEV, moving forward to build a barracks just outside of the base of Gumiho, so just going to build that forward a little bit, and we'll get that barracks started up, as Rax Gas will be our starting point for the first few moments.
Yeah, that's interesting stuff. I never quite understood why Terrans do this, because you just open up normally as a Protoss anyways, like you go core first and then Nexus, and then this allows you to kill the probe, but that's about it from my point of view. So I'm interested to see how Gumiho tries to trick Hero into a lead from this opener. Like I usually, legit, what happens is the Protoss just goes core first anyways. I mean, even before he scouts this, and then he throws down a Nexus, and then the Reaper, because of how close it is to the Terran base, doesn't really get anything done. So we'll see how this goes.
Yep, SCV pulls back, and the probe is going to arrive through the natural and toward the main base for a couple of moments. And that factory is going to go down. Orbital coming up, another depot goes down as well. Just going to block this probe out, and that probe does have to turn away for now.
He's not even going to catch the probe, to be honest. He just has I guess he has Hero worrying about the Proxy Reaper. I just don't think you need to react too much against Proxy Reaper now in general, now that the Stalker builds so quickly.
I'm with you. I always feel as though it's like maybe your biggest fear is something like what it's not actually a. I mean, you see the factory, so it's not even like a 2-rack. I don't know. Like maybe the fear is like a Proxy Marauder, but like you say, you see the factory and it can't be because of the gas count. So yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if this really is all that scary.
Alright, well, Hero's opening with a Robo. I know he used to like this against 2 gas builds in general, where he would open up with a Robo first, get some early observers out, potentially even Immortals against early aggression, and then go into Storm. Usually he would go into Storm on 2 base even, whenever he would open up with the Robo first, so we'll see if that's what he likes to do now. He sees the Reaper, so he knows there was a Reaper. By the timing of the Reaper, he obviously knows that it was on Gumiho's side of the map. From what he saw, it could even be inside Gumiho's on main base, he doesn't know. But yeah, he didn't really cut anything, he didn't make any blind batteries, I don't think. So yeah, just a normal opener from Hero. Aside from the early Robo.
Yep, Robo gonna finish, gonna be an instant obs on the way out. I mean, Robo is, I mean, Robo still gets used as an opener nowadays. It's much more common than it ever used to be, right? So keeps you extremely safe, allows you to put some pressure on with the Prism, and you can just go into your tech behind that as well still. So yeah, you're not going to have something as good as Blink or so early on, but you still have, like I say, a very safe way of opening, essentially.
Yeah, very safe. The biggest struggle is they do not get an super mobile like Blink or Phoenix type anti-air. So you sometimes can struggle with multitasking, multi-prong or drops, but if you're in position with the Stalkers, that should not be too big of an issue, as we see the Twilight Council coming up, which leads me to believe that this will be the storm that I talked about. I mean, it could still be just normal Blink and then a third base with a very delayed Blink. As the Medivac enters Hero's Natural. Thankfully, he was still close to his own side of the map.
Yep.
But it's four Widow Mines.
Yeah, it takes a lot of clearing up as we do pull the probes in there. That's not going to be good. Can split that probe back. That's 2 Widow Mines dead. And we have ourselves the Widow Mine and the Natural will eventually go down as well. So, yeah, we still have the 1 Widow Mine left in this Medivac. And now Hero starts to go out across the map again. Obviously, is going to be playing without Blink or anything here. So, on his way to charge is the follow-up, though, now that the Twilight Council is done.
Yeah, the question is, does Hero actually realize that there's an extra Widow Mine in that? Because 3 is not the normal amount. I thought it was 4, I thought it was reactored Widow Mines, but he actually just started the Widow Mine before he even started the first Starport. Yeah, he left nothing there, so the Reaper plus the Widow Mine are quite annoying right now for Hero, as he's trying to do something on the other side of the map at the same time.
Yeah, Gumiho could have microed that better. He actually had enough damage to kill at least 2 probes, I think, actually, so a little bit of a mishap there. As Hero, again, without Blink, got to be careful, and he's going to just load back down to the low ground. Loses an observer to the scan. He's actually ended up losing 8 probes because now the Liberator shows up. That's where the majority of these kills have come from. The Reaper and Widow Mine didn't do much. The Liberator does not get answered because Hero was scrambling to play defense. And he is going to get a couple units. He is going to get a reactor on the other side. But man, 11 probes down is obviously a huge amount. And he is clearly struggling to get in position to deal with this Lib. Has to go to his own high ground. Unfortunately, Gumiho is a little slow to react himself, so he can't save the Liberator. But he is coming back into the main with the Widow Mine. And he will unload. The Adept's going to try for it. They will not get it in time. And we lose 3 more probes. Disaster is striking, and Gumiho is taking control.
16 workers went down there. That's too much damage, usually at this high of level. As Hero's trying to deal some counter damage, but as you said, there's no Blink. He has a budget Blink in form of a Warp Prism, but he even loses 2 Stalkers on the other side of the map. I mean, this is not Hero's game.
No. This is one you write off and you say, okay, well, good thing I had a 2-0 lead. Much better this happens now than when I'm, down a game. So, yeah, I think it's going to be very tough to make anything happen here because you're still working with Stalkers that do not have Blink or anything, so...
He also didn't start Storm. I'm not sure if you realized. Because he warped in High Templars. Usually nowadays you start Storm before you warp in High Templars. Okay, he does start it up. The moment he has the 200 gas. Yeah, I think the best way for Hero to come back into this game is just hitting massive storms and taking good defensive fight. He's being outmined, so I think if the longer Gumiho waits, honestly, the better it is for Hero at this point. As long as Storm is out, I don't think his army is going to become that much better just by adding a couple extra High Templars. And if Gumiho macros properly, I think in 2 minutes from now he's going to be about 30-40 supply up.
Yeah, I mean, he should be. He's at a ridiculous economy lead. His upgrades are finishing, the CC's finishing right. Like, he's done all the setting up. Now it's just, let your barracks be here and let them build, right? That's the next thing to focus on, actually just building armies here, right? I think supply is about to absolutely skyrocket from Gumiho, and it's going to be extremely tough for Hero to really match a Terran army that comes across the map aggressively at some point.
Yeah, he's trying to go into Robo Bay even as well, so... That's even less units that he has to work with if Gumiho moves out. I really don't think he's going to get Colossus with range before the first move out of Gumiho is there. Unless Gumiho really takes his sweet time. Like if Gumiho waits until like 180 supply, maybe then he can get Colossus range out. But already he's up 20 supply. And this gap will widen a little bit. Now that all the 5 barracks are online for Gumiho.
Yeah, I think we're very much on a case of just waiting for Gumiho to go. And it's going to be very difficult. We're actually going to see Prism Speed from Hero, who apparently is now just trying to have fun with this game. Cool.
I mean, that is very cool. He realizes the Warp Prism is low HP already, so he figures maybe he needs the extra speed to save it.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean... Sure, Colossus is going to start up. We are going to see +1 Blink trying to get through. Gumiho just waiting for Ghosts, waiting for Vikings. Honestly, I don't think waiting is a bad thing still for him. He is going to come across the map with a very powerful army when he decides to go. I think he's got a bit of time before it's been waiting too long, essentially. So I think he's good for the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the 30 supply lead that I was talking about earlier. It's gonna get a 40 supply lead. Oh my god, don't lose the prism. Speed finishes up.
Yeah.
Actually saved the war
no!
prism. Nope.
Oh my goodness, he nearly lost it.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Worth right there, getting the war prism speed first.
Yeah. Well, that's a that's funny, but doesn't really actually save you as hero. I don't think the prism's gonna be all that different. As Gumiho should be feeling confident now to kind of get on the map, though, right? Like,
yes. I mean, I don't know why he's not moving out. It's 40 supply up. As I said, I think past 180 is maybe waited a bit too long. But if he hits after he's already maxed out, I think it's truly a little bit too late. As yeah, he's gonna try to distract hero now. Triple auto turret at the same time as a single medevac drop. But he's moving back with everything towards his own third base for a couple of zealots. I think we're waiting a bit too long now. I don't think we need to give hero time to finish up the double forge upgrades, the Colossus range. I honestly didn't think we were ever gonna see Colossus range finish up this game, but here we are.
Prism goes down. Yeah, you said we weren't gonna see it finish. 100% with you. I think Gumiho has had a lot of time to get across the map. He's still going to come across the map now, and it probably isn't too late even. But, yeah. It's looking as though we have ourselves a Gumiho advantage moving in. Unless he eats some absolutely ridiculous storms and does not somehow deal with the Colossus and misses all his EMPs. I feel like that combination is what is needed for Hero to actually be able to survive here right now. As a couple of tanks will set up in the back. First storm is decent. And the second storm coming down, and just leading in with the Marauders, but the Marauders just getting chunked away at, so honestly not a bad start to the fight from Heroes. He has to commit in a bit more heavily though, it's going to be a little bit more dangerous. I think he could have probably left a Zealot or two on that tank to just kill it off, because now that tank is going to cause the death of that Colossus basically. As the Prism goes down to Wood of Mines too.
Yeah, good Wood of Mine positioning there. Gumiho is still up 50 supply. A lot of this army is yellow to orange HP, but a lot of Heroes units also have lost their shields, and more importantly the War Prism is dead, and all of the High Templars with energy are dead. I think Heroes trying to wait right now until the energy recharge is coming off cooldown. 2 storms in the back. Do have some storms, but they both get EMP'd. Good job from Gumiho there. That was pretty much the only thing that could have brought Hero back if these hit massive storms.
That's exactly what you needed to see, as Gumiho just pretty much guarantees himself the victory in this game 3. And a couple Colossus, Stalkers, and Mortal Archon gathering together, but Gumiho, in a very cautious manner, is going to step up and close this out. I mean, yeah, was very cautious, just going to be seeing the Bio having to step away, a few Zealots opening as well. The +2 attack upgrade coming in from Hero is probably not going to make too much of a difference. He'll be a full set of upgrades up for a couple of seconds, but just has no real army here.
He's playing so careful. I'm really not used to seeing this from, I mean, to be honest, any Terran. This is what it would look like if Serral plays Terran. He goes back now, up 60 supply. Ready for a late game.
He's just absolutely terrified. Well,
I don't even know of what he saw. What
yeah, I know, like, he has full of vision of this one Colossus, no storms. I mean, his army was a little bit low HP for a little while, but yeah, I think sometimes overly cautiousness is going to get you killed, and I know that that's going to happen here, but I mean, Hero's going to be within 50 supply again. I mean, it's better than it has been for Hero, who's actually, on a lot of probes and so on, so just unnecessary risks. Because you do have the, well, Medevac's going to come across, just going to go and load into the main. And, yeah, Hero's completely unprepared because he's had no map control this game compared to some of the previous maps.
Actually gets a ghost there and gets out. All of these units are also quite low in HP, and it doesn't quite sync up with the attack on the bottom side. The Hero, I think, will just give up the base on the bottom. Let's see if he even can clear this up. Good storm lands, gets
2 full medevacs.
2 full medevacs right there. Now we're back to 40, well, 40 to 50 supply advantage. Also +3 armor is soon to finish. And Gumiho hasn't even moved out with his entire army. I mean, if Hero maxes out with 3-3 upgrades, that game is much closer than it was previously. I know Artosis famously has once said that if you're ahead, you should get more ahead, but you can't really get more ahead than having the game won. So I think if you can win the game, you should also try to win it.
Yep. Oh, Hero going to try and intercept this army coming back. He did have to drop his High Templars off in an awkward spot because the Prism got jumped on immediately. He's going to give it a go. He reckons this is his best opportunity, so he's just going to send it and see if it can be enough. There's not a lot of medevacs. He does have 3 Colossus. That might actually be difficult to get rid of. There's only, what, like 3 Vikings? So there is genuinely a hope here where there shouldn't have been before.
Mm-hmm. This base is also super oversaturated. There's 32 SCVs on this base.
Yeah,
so if those SCVs die, I mean, instantly it becomes a lot closer. I don't even think Hero needs to necessarily attack. Obviously, Gumiho is taking a 5th base, so maybe now is the time to attack, you would think. But I mean, if he just goes back, and even or in a late game where both players are maxed, I tend to favor Hero, even if Gumiho has a bank.
Yeah.
And this is exactly where we're at right now. Somehow.
Yeah, no, Gumiho has just done all the wrong things. Like, he could have just stimmed and winned on the 3rd base like 3 minutes ago. And now Hero is maxed out. Gumiho has a mineral bank, but not really a gas bank. And I still genuinely think that here there's some trouble for Gumiho getting rid of the Colossus, but this fight's actually pretty decent, as the Disruptors don't seem to know where they want to fire to. So they took a little while before actually pushing units away, and it turns into a very good fight for Gumiho. I think Hero, like I say, got a bit caught up. If he got the Disruptors firing a bit sooner, this would have been very difficult for Gumiho to collapse in on. Even still, Hero loses the Colossus. I mean, he's going to rebuild 2 more of those. I like that a lot, because I think he needs the Colossus as kind of a big part of this army to help him through.
Yeah. I mean, that was a great fight from Gumiho. I know we were critical of him for delaying it, and I still have to be, but that was a good concave, some army on the bottom left distracting the Protoss side as well. But now he's out of position, there's a lot of Disruptors. It's gonna be very uncomfortable for Gumiho to engage into those Disruptors. He loses a lot of his SCVs, the supplies are even all of a sudden. Good Disruptor shot. Hero now is also ahead in bank. The Vikings land here, but if there's a warp in... Okay, no, instead he just recalls. And that's good enough as well.
That works.
Hero's now up 30 supply.
Yeah. Well, Gumiho just gave up a bunch of SCVs, lost a bunch of units to repeated Disruptor shots just going off on him again and again and again. And yeah, Hero's up in supply, and because Gumiho was oversaturated, he wasn't minding as much as he should have been maybe with all those SCVs at first. And then he lost a bunch of SCVs. I mean, this took a horrible turn, and we also now have a lot of Zealots on the map, and I'm not sure if Gumiho's army's really built to deal with the Zealots. There's 1 Ghost. I mean, this is not a good army against Zealots at all, actually. 1 Ghost, and then not a lot of Marines even. It's very Marauder heavy. Planetary Fortress will live here. I mean, Hero could really do with hitting the top left, perhaps, or maybe just going with the full army at once. As those Vikings giving themselves up is not great, because now Hero has rebuilt Colossus. Gumiho presumed that he just wouldn't, because usually you get onto Disruptors and you just stay on Disruptors at that point. But Hero actually made the Colossus, and now he's going to regret giving up those Vikings, I think. He is at least getting Liberators on the way, and that's going to help a lot as these Disruptors try and do their thing. Maybe a little bit too far ahead of the rest of the army, but actually still getting to connect. It's just the Liberators. There's absolutely no anti-air against them.
Yeah, the Cybercore died, so he couldn't warp in Stalkers for quite a while. And these Liberators are single-handedly saving Gumiho from an awful position. It's still very scrappy, but Hero doesn't know about the base in the top left, I'm fairly certain. Yeah, he never saw it. So that is saving Gumiho right now, because that's the only base that is significantly mining. And Hero's back to only 3 bases, although that was his initial 4th base, so he should still have some juice in there. A good stim forward kills a lot of Disruptors, also a lot of Stalkers. Now the Zealots are going in. This is all a little bit disjointed by Hero. However, most of these bio units are now stuck. They will have to load up. Good load up, also good focus fire though, yep.
Yeah, got 1 full medevac. The other medevac went down, didn't have much inside. Hero's going to go across, but the Liberators are going to show up again, so that's going to continue to be a problem as Hero just says, well, I'd rather dive across the map than anything else. He actually does get the Stalkers warped in to defend those Liberators. SCV's AFK over here, so they're not even mining properly. Gumiho is also not on a great economy at this point. Like, he's barely mining more than his opponent. He's going to lose this base and this economy. Like you say, that top left base, if Hero knew about that, that would be such a game changer. Now those Liberators kind of give themselves up as well, so both players losing a lot of workers, man. Hero isn't just knowing about that base away from actually being a really decent spot. He's going to go chasing through as well. He's actually going to be able to go camp the production. That's huge. Yeah,
that is huge. Gumiho is deciding to go for a base trade, but that is while Hero is already knocking on his front door, which means Hero can leave some Zealots here. He can get rid of all of the economy, and then he can still recall, because he has a recall still ready. So I'm not sure about this decision from Gumiho, but I understand it. He couldn't fight that base anymore. Let's see if Hero is quick to recall, because I think he needs to save that base. Yeah, there's the recall.
Correct call.
And that is important.
Yeah.
Also, he left just enough units there. But did he recall enough is the question.
Maybe
Forward
not.
blink, a lot of Marauders.
Oh my god,
The
he's
Immortal
just
is fighting.
trying to protect the Immortal. Probe should have probably pulled in there. The Archon and the Colossus continue to fight back. The problem is for Gumiho is that these units are low HP. There's no Medivacs. That Colossus is going to do work. It can step up to the high ground as well. Remember, it has range right now. A few Zealots are going to charge in, and now they're going to get a couple more Marauders too. Every unit matters at the moment. And Hero is going to be able to knock this down to what, like 6 Marauders or so? Marines producing, but this is all in the main base, which is still being camped, and I just don't think Gumiho, in the end, does clean this up. I mean, he's still got the top left base, and a planetary fortress might not be something you can do much with, as a Colossus and Sentry are chasing down the Marauders.
What am I watching? There's really not that many units inside Gumiho's main as well anymore, but he doesn't have enough production. I think he needs to lift this up. The Liberator is huge. Hero doesn't have the minerals to even start a Stalker right now. I was thinking maybe he can now warp in a lot of Archons, and those are really strong, without any Ghost being there, but... I mean, Hero's dead on his side of the map. The recall has also been used. He's trying to flee with the probes that he has left. He does not have enough minerals to restart a Nexus, though. And Gumiho is bunkering up on his side of the map. And that base in the top left, as you said, it's a planetary. That one will be super difficult to get rid of. The Colossus can obviously kill the SCVs maybe from far away, but... I think Marauders in the bunker have the same range as the Colossus, do they? Maybe -1.
Yeah, I think it'll be a little bit less, as we do see a couple of units going to have to get picked up and saved right here. We're going to drop on top of the Colossus, as the sentries do not have a way to save that Colossus anymore. We actually have units showing back up here from Hero, but the Medivac healing is actually such a huge deal breaker that we just haven't had previously. Drops the force field down, tries to navigate this fight somehow, some way. Stalker's doing what they can. Disruptor will show up. It's going to have to be very good at kind of aiming and not getting too close. We actually drop the Marauder back into it. Another Colossus comes here as well, as Hero is trying to play the defense, and he does save his main, but he has no probes, no money to build a probe, so he can't build anything else, whereas Gumiho is mining off 19 workers, and this game still comes down to the fact that Hero has just never seen the top left.
Yeah. Yeah, he will now realize, and I think he's gonna quit the moment he sees the planetary in the bunkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a single Marauder in the bottom right found the, found the 2 last probes, so there's also no mining to be done here from Hero. And that was a crazy match. I mean, I honestly think it was down to, for Hero's missed recall, or at least he didn't recall enough, or at least he didn't take a good enough fight for Gumiho to have a chance at this. Yeah. Like, Hero was actually in a winning position from an impossible position. He was down, what, 50 supply, almost 60 in the mid-game after that early game.
Yeah, Gumiho just didn't want to kill him, and then when it came down to, like you say, that recall probably was, like you say, the defining factor, because if he just recalls, I mean, I understand you want to leave some units behind, but I think he just didn't recall anything that could tank, right? Like, if he gets a few Zealots in the front there or something, it's such a different situation, you know? Just not a good enough recall. Not for the fact the army was right there on top of the base already. Like, that might have been enough stuff if the unit still had to move up the ramp into it, you know? So, yeah, crazy game. If I'm Gumiho, I'm feeling terrible about winning this one, because, quite frankly, he was so far ahead that this should never have gotten to the point where it came down to this. And hopefully he can get through that mentally for this next game.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. It was a very cool game. I mean, I'm not sure how this one plays out, though, if Gumiho doesn't get a huge lead. So let's hope that Gumiho gets off to a huge lead, if that means that this is the type of game we're going to see.
I mean, that was an absolutely ridiculous lead to then Hero basically almost came back from anyway. Absolutely nuts game. El Dorado for map number 4, so big map actually for our 4th map here as Hero. I mean, I just thinking about not even the point where Gumiho was killing Hero, but the fact that, you know, early in the game Hero was just getting decimated on all of his worker lines. He was losing so many probes consistently, and the fact that he was already in the game from that point was kind of incredible. It does not fill me with confidence for our Red Terran in the bottom right, who's going to need to get off to a fantastic start. Gumiho, our Red Terran, as we get into game 4.
His opponent in the bottom left is Hero. I'm not sure if you already introduced him or if we always do that, but yeah, I mean, we have to remember it was kind of a proxy repair. I mean, it was a 2-gas opening, so you needed to deal some damage, but you never, like, 16 workers, I don't think even Gumiho expected that type of damage. There is a chance that he simply didn't know how far ahead he was. Maybe he didn't pay enough attention to the Liberator or never looked at the kill count, but I also find that unlikely because he re-sieged it. So Yeah, weird decision making. It's always easier if you see everything. And Gumiho, if he would watch that replay, especially if he lost it, would have been very sad probably. But he didn't throw it in the end, so all is good.
Well, let's see what we get. El Dorado, map number 4. Again, very fun map. Just gonna be seeing our Rax is about to finish up. The SCV's on the way. I mean, do you not feel like this is a great map for kind of being kind of crazy early game, which is to me one of Gumiho's better strengths as well. So maybe that helps Hero to stabilize a little bit into that position in mid game, which would be very good for him too.
Probably. I mean, I think this is one of the maps where this is the worst map in the map pool for Blink. Simply because you can't jump into the main base like you can on every other map. So this would be like one of the maps where Hero would go Phoenix if he likes to play Phoenix, which means it's already a very different early game. Gumiho completely skipping the barracks unit. Very cool there for a super early factory. So we'll see. Maybe he goes for like a reactor Italian drop or a reactor Widowmine drop, something like that.
Well, we shall find out. Yeah, definitely a possibility, right? Last time we went for 3 Widowmines. I mean, Hero definitely struggled there. It was kind of down to Hero's opening too. Like Hero was trying to be aggressive with the Prism and Micro, and he just missed a lot of the defense that he needed to make at the same time. So that was pretty rough. Let's just have ourselves the reactor and the tech lab coming through. The Stargate is building. We get all of that underway for the moment.
Oh, interesting. It's a tech lab on the factory. So it's a super early Cyclone drop. Probably. Or a Cyclone and what I assume to be a medevac. That should be good for Gumiho, that build or matchup. Like, once again, he completely skipped out on any barracks units. Hero has no scouting, so he doesn't know the timings of Gumiho. He went for a blind battery. So overall, here I would give the builder advantage a little bit to Gumiho, who should be able to at least deny a third base for quite a while.
Yep. That Stargate comes online. We're going to go straight to Phoenix, so that's going to be very good defensively in a lot of ways, but we'll see if it's good enough as we get this set up. So Phoenix Wolf Gate continue to come online, and we take the next few moments as they come.
Yeah, this Phoenix will be the first scout of Hero, and this was called first, which means the Stargate itself is a bit later, because you have less gas to work with. Hero expanding towards it, and I have never seen a Protoss do this. With Phoenix as well, that's pretty crazy. That is pretty crazy. No second gate, no robo yet. Okay, he now scouts. He sees the timing of the medevac, so he knows it was an early factory. That is the first step, and that is quite important. Okay, now he starts a second gate and a shield battery. That's also good. That's the correct things he needs to do. Oh, he catches a Cyclone. He sees it with the probe in the middle of the map. Can he kill it though?
He's gonna try, lifts it again, gets it, and that is gonna be the kill. Nice relift as well. Very nicely done.
Yeah. So Gumiho will see this now, and he will realize that the gold minerals have been mined. Because the probe can't get there without the gold minerals being mined, since he sees that all the blue minerals are there. So he should realize that Hero most likely is expanding towards the bottom. If he knows, I think he should maybe go with a... he should mine his own gold minerals and then go for a push.
Okay. Well, he is setting up into just aggressive units, another Cyclone. Banshee's on the way. I don't love it against Phoenix, if I'm honest. Like, I appreciate this is like a high damage output army, but Phoenix shut down just so much of this. I mean, they can lift the Cyclones to cancel lock-ons. The Banshee, obviously, can get shot down by Phoenix as well. He does see the Starport Tech Lab and Research on the way as well, so Hero gets that info to work with. The only thing he doesn't have is Detection. He could make an Oracle against it, so that's the one thing he's missing right now.
Oh, he catches the Banshee. I mean, that is so bad.
That's devastating. Okay, well, yeah, this entire early game is going against Gumiho, so not quite the vibe we wanted for him, considering we felt like he needed to get off to a great start and in a bit of a tough spot already.
I wonder if he's gonna SCV pull. Like a 3-4 SCVs and go with a tank push. I think that would be like his best chance, but if you lose the first Banshee already, it's still questionable.
Yeah, well, Banshee's gonna...
He's making a Raven and the Raven upgrade. That is crazy, and it's really, really, really bad against Phoenix Chargelot.
So expensive.
I mean, he's banking on the fact that it's Colossus, and he's gonna try to go double Raven, but that is crazy. And it's very bad against the Chargelot follow-up in particular.
Well, the Oracle just left though, so at least this Banshee's going to get in cloaked and maybe able to get something done. There's a battery in the main though, so if this Banshee reveals itself by attacking, would not be ideal. There is a battery in the natural too, but I could at least force the probes to go toward it for a few moments, so this Banshee's just going to do nothing at all.
It's an observer.
Yeah, yeah, quite literally, he's just a glorified observer. Jeez. Phoenix are still just stepping up on the map and just trying to see what they can do. Stasis down to this low ground as well. Hero wants this stasis on the low ground because he knows that's likely where his opponent moves to with the expansion, right? The CC's in position and it's just kind of where you would likely go to start pushing towards the Protoss player in this game, but again, it's just been a horrible start for Gumiho, so he's got some work to do before he can really think about even taking the third, I think. If he tries to take it too soon, he's going to get crushed.
Yeah, Gumiho just hopes to survive now. Gumiho doesn't have Stim even started, nor combat shields. Like, if you look at the numbers, you're like, what are these casters talking about? It's not that far behind. He's just now starting Stim. Like, if Hero attacks even just the third base, as you said, Gumiho's gonna struggle because he has unupgraded Marines. Even if they have 1-1, it's gonna be Marines without Stim, without combat shields. And his production is just super late, because he made so many units early on. So yeah, it's not a great position. Hero can pretty much pick what he wants to do. He's already taking gold base, he can go double forge if he wants, he can go into Colossus as well. He can take a 5th base if he wants, he can also just try to kill Gumiho. It's a fun game to be a Protoss player in.
Yeah, I mean, you can really pick your poison in terms of how you feed it to the Terran. It's not going to be pretty. This third is obviously having issues getting there. The Phoenix going to go just put a couple shots in. The Raven, which would usually love to be on the map, is obviously just at home. I mean, yeah, it's hard to pick any kind of nice part of this game for Gumiho, who is currently just stuck on 2 bases. The nice part is that he's walled into his 2 bases. The Zealots can't help. I mean, yeah, there's no greatness in this situation right now, as he's going to try and take the gold, but yeah, don't love that either.
I mean, this is ridiculous. Whenever I see Terran games like this, it's usually Piotr playing them, and then he just starts massing bunkers, and then I sometimes see him almost come back. So I hope that's what Gumiho is gonna do, and that's kind of what he's doing. He's turtling forward very slowly. The Banshee is coming in with a counter attack. It has been waiting all game long for just this moment.
So this moment is shine. The Phoenix actually started to pull back for it, so they're gonna get all the way back over there. We do also need detection, which is what the Oracle will provide. The Banshee gets revelated. Phoenix kill it. He gets 3 workers, a little bit of lost mining time. A little bit of a distraction for Gumiho to take the third, and obviously this is a situation where for Hero, if you attack into that third, it's a very defended position because the high ground positions are defendable from Gumiho right now as well, so that's also a factor at the moment.
Yeah, Gumiho's gonna turtle for the rest of the game, and Hero doesn't need to run into this, but I mean, I still think he can try at the very least. He can lift the tanks in the back with the Phoenix. This should be the worst possible fight we're ever gonna see.
Yep.
A Zealot take into a small choke with tanks on the high grounds, even anti-armor missile. So that's a good first defense of Gumiho.
And Gumiho again a bit of confidence, going to start moving forward during this. 2 more Colossus on the way from Hero, who already has 1 Colossus up, and is currently the Phoenix on the top side of the map, seeing if he can maybe find a little bit of anything here as well. The Bio taking the Watchtower. It's difficult to imagine you win a fight here as Gumiho, just because there is so many Zealots, and you're tank heavy. Tanks good, but Zealots can do pretty well against tanks, but he does get the first shots off there. I feel like he's very much so pinned in position.
Yeah, I think he should go back, but apparently he thinks he should go forward. As he sieges the tanks forward, he now also has the Watchtower. He gets a Phoenix. Don't get me wrong, these are all very good trades. I just think Hero can A-move him. Yeah, if he chooses to do so.
I mean, he's got the Phoenix just lift up a bunch of the tanks as well. Right, here we go. We are going to see the Raven just about to get 2 Interference Matrix off. I don't think we need Colossus. This is just Zealots can do their thing, right? So we are just going to come around the back. Siege tanks are going to go down. I mean, the Zealots are still there. They're still chunking through this entire army. The rest of Hero's army is just not there, and he's still winning the fight almost.
That was not well done by Hero. He had all the zealots coming from the bottom, and they were all stuck, going around the corner, and the fight was still okay.
Yeah.
But that was not pretty. I mean, the last couple of fights were not good for Hero.
But what he needs, though, is obviously just, as long as he keeps expanding and doesn't lose these bases, like, he can fight like that, right? So as long as you don't let Gumiho take a 4th base like this one, I mean, now is actually the time to get across the map and to push into Gumiho, because he lost all the tanks. He has no defensive setup anymore. Like, this is the moment you can actually engage in here and have a much better time with these zealots. So I think, well, I think he should bring the rest of his army as well, but I think this is actually the time for Hero to actually take a fight. This would be it.
He has your stream on, and he heard you saying that he can win with only the zealots. So he's trying to make it a point now.
He's like, okay then, let's do it. Not quite what I meant, but okay. So it's going to charge up, and they're going to go after the depots here. There's a bunker. I mean, more than anything, this is just trying to pull units over into that direction so you can then attack in here more successfully, and that's exactly what we try to do. As disruptor shots are going to fire, siege tank goes down already. I mean, we are going to see Hero once again is getting chased back, plus some Vikings hunting the Colossus. Oh, I mean, a couple zealots broke through, but that's about it, and Gumiho continues to defend.
Check the resources lost. It's actually crazy.
I don't even want to. It's like double.
It is double, yeah.
Double, 6k, 6.8 to 12k. It's pretty wild.
This fight was all the zealots running way too far forward, outside of Guardian Shield range, into all of the bio, while the Colossus was shooting in orbit though. I still think Hero's winning, don't get me wrong.
Yep, I think so too.
I mean, if he plays like this, then maybe Hero was the one that needed the good early game after all. Because that was actually, he can't play like that in an even game, that's for sure.
That's true, but I feel like it looked so different if he played from a...
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kira trying to get that bottom gold base is a very hopeful idea. As he's been a little bit more responsible with some of these fights now, like taking, sending Disruptor up. I still don't feel like these Zealots are going to break through the top side, though. I feel like these Warpins are very hopeful. He actually is going to get through the depots this time, so maybe it will work. He's going to get on the bunker at the same time, still pushing onto the gold. Going to use Disruptors to try and zone out this army that's now trying to wrap around him. As the Protoss Force can escape to the top side. Disruptor shot going to hit big on the right. Hits a lot of units. Blows their HP bars in a big way. And Hero, though, does lose his Colossus, and Gumiho stepping up has actually got an insane army right now. He needs to be extremely careful. Like, he's actually in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, he has 2k minerals in the bank, but this needs to be on the field if he wants to win a fight. This is the first time where Gumiho has actually a business moving out and going towards the other side of the map. He's very Disruptor heavy right now, but one tank is still zoning him out, and Hero says it's go time. There is no Guardian Shield in this fight. Disruptor is killing only his own Zealots. This was once again not perfectly executed. He's trying to fall back to his extra Disruptors. Does he have enough gateways? His gateway count is 12, so it should be an extra weapon of 12 Zealots here. And Gumiho's army is very low on HP at this point. Yeah,
the HP bars is what I worry about a little bit for Gumiho here, as we are going to be seeing the Stalkers warped in as well, so he can actually get some shots off consistently with those Stalkers, and he doesn't have to worry about the Zealots getting hit by his own Disruptors as much. I mean, Hero still has money to spend as well, so should be able to do that. He's still expanding, by the way, just endlessly on the top of the map. He's got bases he's not even mining, and he's still dropping expansions. Hero, you realize that this is closer than you think right now, like, simply for the fact that you're playing a bit silly. I really felt like he knew, and I feel like he's about to put another base top right as well. Jesus, Hero, chill out.
I think it's cool. It's asserting dominance here. Is what he's doing.
Dominance? I'll feel it's cool when he wins the game, okay?
Okay.
He has a lot of Disruptors now, so he can aggressively push forward with Disruptors. Being able to fire 2 Disruptors at a time and basically zone the army out from 2 directions is huge. This is scary, though, because the Disruptor's going to fire a little bit late, so he's not going to be able to actually force the army back. That's exactly what you're looking for as Gumiho. Those kind of opportunities are huge for you. And we do see Hero once again just escaping back. Disruptor, a little bit of an odd spot, does go down. As we see a mass warp in his Zealot. Zealot should be great now, right? There's a very low Marine count, 1 single Ghost. And this is exactly where just Marauders do not cut it anymore. So this is, I think, where Zealot should really look amazing.
Yeah, I think one thing Hero should absolutely do is also warp in a Sentry for Guardian Shield. You can now just warp in a Sentry, or recharge it, and instantly it will have Guardian Shield. Maybe it's difficult for him to micro because he F2s a lot, but yeah, against this mass Marauder with a lot of Zealots, the Guardian Shield really does matter quite a bit. He also is remaking the Colossus, which I really like, since all of the Vikings are dead. Will help him with zoning out Gumiho's army, but Gumiho is now the one that's expanding towards the gold base. It is his original main base, so it's just an orbital, as we can see that Hero has a bunch of bases without workers on them.
Oh, Hero gonna blink in, looking for the Liberators here, using the Disruptors to zone out. He has the Colossus to help against the Bio as well, but the Bio's gonna get through the first wave of Disruptor shots right here. A couple more shots coming through. We actually do need to rely on the Colossus a little bit. You know, those Medivacs are so drained of energy as well. Like, they've been constantly having to heal. I mean, that would be an issue. If you actually get rid of the Medivacs too, it would force more Medivacs to be built rather than Liberators and so. And in this case now Vikings as well. So starport production, I feel like, could be pressed into an issue for Gumiho, as those Medivacs are such low energy.
Yep. Hero also didn't realize that gold base is there, but it's not a planetary, so the moment he sends the Zealots there, it should be good for him. He engages on top of Gumiho's army. Gumiho stims forward, trying to focus fire down. Another Colossus, the supplies are still close, but Hero is just way out mining Gumiho. And in the long run, as you said, he can't keep stimming there. He's simply out of medevac energy. It's no extra medevacs on the way.
Yep.
He also doesn't have the medevac upgrade, which means they don't regenerate super quickly.
Yep. Oh, that Disruptor shot's going to be nice as well, as everything got clumped up on the ramp for a moment. That's a much better moment or two for Hero, where he actually just got a bunch of units without losing anything in return. And Gumiho eventually says GG. He's felt enough pain in this game, as Hero takes the 3-1 lead. And not just lead, but victory.
Yep. I mean, overall, that was pretty decisive, I would say, in terms of the series. But the last game was a lot of potatoing around there from Hero. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
but
the last couple of games became a bit messy on both sides at different points, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, you play differently if you know you're very far ahead. For example, I play way better if I know I'm behind.
Mm-hmm.
You just start trying. Yeah. You think about every single fight. You try to take every fight as good as you possibly can. It does. I mean, it does change the way you play, but also, as you said, like at some point, you think he then starts taking it a little bit more seriously, and he stops goofing around.
I thought he had as well. I thought he was like, actually, you know what? Let's play a bit more sensibly. Started to make some better moves, and then he was like, actually, I'm gonna build like 3 nexus on the top side, and I'm not mining from any of them, and still throwing units at Gumiho. Like, it's a difficult position to attack into. I don't think anyone denies that, but yeah, kind of a wild one.
No war prisms or anything.
No.
Like,
yeah,
you would think after he also sends the zealots into the wall 2 times, he doesn't do a third 12 zealot warp and that also runs into the wall again.
Just a little bit of a wild game as we are moving to Europe for our last series of this group stage, which is going to be, not group stage, sorry, of the round of 8, which is going to be between Clem and Skillous. That TVP is going to come up in a couple of moments. We'll get underway with that. See who advances to the next round to play Hero in the winner bracket semis, and the loser drops down to play Gumiho in the lower bracket. So, exciting setup. There's going to be RB1 moment while they video.
Yep. I love Hero. He makes all the games exciting, even the ones where he's ahead sometimes. Yeah, Hero has a very, very good win rate against Gumiho, apparently. I was not aware of this, but Wardy said I think he won the last 10 or so. So in the past, for almost a year now, Hero has been dominating against Gumiho. Is Serral playing? Serral already played earlier, so you can go and watch the VODs for that. Clem actually vetoing Frostline, that's interesting. It's a good map for the Blink Stalkers. But usually these uncomfortable maps are also favored by Terran players when they are up against Protoss. So Clem picks Whispers of Ghost first, that's the shortest maps, then Skillous picks Leylines and Eldorado, and then Amygdala and King's Cove are left. Very interesting to see him. He obviously vetoed Neon Violet, I think almost everybody vetoes it against Protoss, aside from Dark. But he vetoed Frostline over King's Cove. Let's see if Wardy can join from his phone. Everybody waiting on Wardy right now. The madman actually did it. He joined from his phone. Unbelievable. Unbelievable tech. I'm trying to get my in-game music rolling right now, but it's not working for some reason.
Yo.
Hello.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's going well.
Nice.
I just had the proof that you can join the games with your phone, which is pretty sick.
Yeah. It's not some crazy hack, it's just Snap. I use it for a lot of stuff. I was saying this before when you're AFK, but I use it for like if I'm late getting home and I have to turn my stream on, I put my stream on when I'm still out and stuff.
Mm.
It's very useful. If I forget to upload my YouTube video from my phone.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But you're the first person that I've heard actually using this.
Yeah, it's just straight up useful. Alright, so Skillous Clem. This is a fun one as well. Skillous has been playing well lately. I feel like Clem's had a couple of shaky series recently in TVP, so I'd like to see how he responds today, taking on Skillous. So he has had a very good run against Skillous as of late. Beat him 3-1 very recently in the finals of the Hub Cup, and then that was actually twice in one day, 3-1, 3-1, and it's been a few matchups since Skillous got the better of Clem in the Kung Fu Cup last summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Skillous is the highest MMR that he's been at for a long time, like a very, very, very long time. So I think ladder is not the most deciding factor of how good players are, but you can get a good idea of their skill level, especially if you play a lot and then you stay at that MMR. So I think whatever you average out if you play a lot, it actually does show how good you are currently. And I haven't seen Skillous at the MMR that he's at right now in a very, like, I can't even remember the last time he was at that MMR. So he's actually really in good shape, which should make this a very exciting series.
Awesome. Yeah, well, we're going to see a map. I feel like we haven't seen Whispers of Gold all day, so already seeing some different maps as well coming in this best of 5, so yeah, very exciting, as this does come up as the last match of the day, but tomorrow we start up again, and tomorrow's matchup's already looking good. It's Dark versus Reynor starts the day, Gumiho versus the loser of this series, then Maxpax versus Serral, and Hero versus Clem or Skillous, so tomorrow's match is also looking great.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go down to 2 best of 5s a day the next couple of days, with the finals being on Sunday.
But the lower bracket here is also best of 5, it's not randomly best of 7, is it?
No, it's all best of 5. Yeah. It's not like Masters Coliseum. Okay. Yeah, it's all best of 5. As yeah, everyone is just readying up, the players are ready, the observer's back, and yeah, we should be still going any second. There's the countdown. Perfect. And on the European server, so I'm not going to have connection issues with Korea anymore as well. It's also nice.
That is nice indeed. Everybody playing without ping. Skillous probably with legit 0 ping, because he lives quite close to the server. Clem also, I mean, from France, it's not very far either. So this is the optimal Starcraft.
Optimal
for
Starcraft.
These two.
I like it. Alright, we're going into Whispers of Gold. And we're going to start off in the top left corner of the map with the blue Terran player from Team Liquid. We are going to have ourselves Clem.
And at the bottom right, his teammate, it is Skillous.
Whispers of Gold already a map, like I said, we haven't seen all day today, but it is one of the shorter maps and potentially more aggressive. Clem does not shy away from being aggressive with some Marines and some Siege tanks and just pushing across the other side, so 100% expecting, you know, potential of Skillous having to be very cautious early in the game. Like I say, Clem just does not hold back with those sort of styles.
Yep. Just 2 days ago, actually, Clem lost a best of 5 against Trigger, so
yeah,
it's definitely not impossible to beat him, even though I do think he's the best Terran in the world right now. But yeah, Skillous is also getting closer. to the skill level of someone like a Maxpax, someone like a hero. So this will really be a big test to see how well he can perform. With preparation as well, you know. Some players are better in general, but have preparation. On top of that, good preparation. And some players are just better in normal standard games and don't prepare as much. Just try to get super good in a matchup and then don't really mix it up in these prepared tournament scenarios.
The Marine starts up. So going to go Marine, not a Reaper. Clem does this a lot where he's just like, you know what, I don't need the Reaper scouting. Plays a little greedy in that aspect, and then just means you're 50 gas further along than you should be in your build order. So you get the factory 50 gas sooner. That leads to your first little bit of pressure coming 50 gas sooner. At the cost of the Reaper, which usually is more of a scouting mechanism, and it does a little bit of keeping units at home from Skillous as well. So there's some sacrifices here, but some benefits as well, as Clem drops that factory down. And he begins to tech up. He is still going to do that after a CC, so Command Center first, after the Marine, and then the factory.
You know, I actually think that you should cancel the Marine if this is what you want to do. If you want the early factory, because the Marine, like the probe, will run away anyways, and you don't want to show the Marine. And then your CC is slightly earlier. I told Clem this as well, and he agreed, but no, I'm not sure. Gumiho also did that in the last series a bunch. Whenever he didn't need the Marine, he would just cancel it again, and then the CC would be slightly earlier. Either way, it doesn't really matter that much. It's just the CC being legitimately 2 seconds earlier. So it is not the biggest difference. As Clem is playing super safe, it's an early factory and an early bunker as well.
Yep, not taking any risks at all. Just continuing to reactor out Marines. It'll Hellion from the factory, and the starport starts as well, so that will be his setup. And Skill is going to go into that very expected Twilight Council. So bringing the Twilight Council into play, getting that started, and giving us the chance to go into a Blink upgrade, and that will obviously be his starting point at the start of this matchup.
He also went for 0 adept, so he has no scouting on the other side of the map. He went double Stalker, Blink, no Sentry either yet. Sentry comes here as the 3rd unit, so this will be his scouting, but it will be quite late. It's not the most common we see, so he prefers the earlier Blink. He might even have Blink done by the time the Will Mine drop hits. But then instead he will have a later scouting. So interesting twist on the normal build order, because we've seen Stalker Sentry, we've also seen Stalker Sentry, but usually it's the Twilight, it's the Blink after the Sentry for sure.
Well, Stalker gonna shoot, Hellion gonna take some shots, gets pushed back the other way. We do have our Liberator coming up, Tech Labs, and still coming through. And Ben Nexus just coming up from Skillous immediately on the 3rd base, so he does not waste time at all. Getting to his 3rd base setup and getting that ready to go.
Okay, I wanna be very focused on when Blink finishes and also when Skillous gets the scouting. He didn't even recharge the Sentry yet. This is where the drop hits. Blink is not done quite yet.
Ooh.
Recall is instantly forced. Those were still chasing away the Hellion.
Yeah.
Oh, Recall's in range of the Widow Mine. Barely doesn't get shot though.
Yep.
Oh, that's nice though.
Yeah, really nice actually getting the Widow Mine onto the Assimilator. Does not kill the probe as it goes in there. The Hellion just at the front, just going to poke around, double check the 3rd, and pretty nice from Clem, right? I mean, 2 probes. Potential to have gotten a lot more done there, but escaped with pretty much everything. Skillous has to use a recall as well. Just an expensive couple of moments from Skillous, as Clem is going to follow up with more aggression because he's got the Liberator that can move into position now. He's got the Siege Tank out, so he can maybe Marine Tank push if he wants to. His opponent has Blink, but has very minimal presence on the map. A few Stalkers here, 2 Stalkers going to blink in the main to try and do something. It's not a lot, and the Siege Tank is going to pretty much deny them from doing much else at all. It's actually going to lose a Stalker.
Yeah, that was super questionable. I mean, I get that he didn't want to show the Phoenix, so Clem wouldn't be ready, but it's a very standard opener, and Clem usually always has a tank there, so yeah, that did not work out well for Skillous. He needs to delay Clem now. Clem delayed his extra barracks, he delayed his stim, similar to Gumiho, but he is wanting to apply pressure now with the extra units that he's gotten because of it. And he's distracting with the Liberator while he's pushing at the front. It's not even enough Stalkers to one-shot Marines.
Yeah.
And now Clem is simply just taking a different path. This is turning out very poorly for Skillous. So yeah, very good for Clem.
Yep, Liberator has killed 4 probes and just going to move elsewhere. Can go behind the main, which now gives it the chance to go into the main or natural. 2 Stalkers have to go and deal with that. Tanks are almost definitely going to get into position here. Clem is fast enough to move that Liberator away as well. We already lost a Stalker. We're going to lose another. And as the tanks siege up, this third base is in a tremendous amount of trouble. You got a Raven here to help deal with this as well, so yeah, this is just trouble, trouble, trouble. Trying to get batteries up, more batteries than you really should have to build in these scenarios, so that's not exactly great either.
It's not great either. The one thing that is good for him is that he was good at getting charged right after Blink, so it might finish in time for the fight, unless he tries to go before the Nexus dies, I suppose. The two Zealots still tanked a lot of damage, and he actually gets one tank. Needs to start healing the Nexus, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Nexus is going to be in trouble if you're not careful, and right now, engaging back in, just letting that tank get more shots off. We got rid of one tank, but the other is still around. Liberator tries to come back in, actually does get a probe as Clem benefiting from his ability to just kind of stay active. Target fires those Stalkers as well. The tank will survive the Zealot. We're actually going to get the Observer as well during the scan. Tank nearly killed his own Marine. Clem says, you know, this is enough. I think I've really done a lot with very little so far. I don't even mind. He's not even fully pulling back. He's actually just going to reposition the tank to a little bit of a safer spot. He's about to have Stim and Combat Shield, so this push will continue.
Yeah. As you said, he's just trying to buy time for these two upgrades, and then he can go again if he wants to. And he's just rallying across either. He has a nice position to fall back to. He killed most of the range units that Skillous has, so Clem can poke forward with all the Marines and the Marauders, and then fall back towards his Widow Mines, towards the siege tanks, and that should be impossible for Skillous to engage into. He's now down so much in terms of supply. GG is called.
Clem takes game number 1 of the best of 5 series, so Clem opens up with a victory. And just very convincing kind of Clem game, right, where he just starts to push, he keeps on pushing, does not kind of, you know, he sees the opportunities, he pulls you around so you're not ready for the push in certain positions. Very difficult to stay on top of a Skillous, and is not able to stay on top of it at all, and goes down a game.
Yeah.
So just
that was also the hardest map, though. To be fair,
Yep.
in Skillous' defense, Whispers of God was always going to be the most difficult.
That's true.
I'm surprised he didn't veto it. He also doesn't veto it against Zerg. He's the only Protoss that doesn't veto it against Zerg. Maybe he just likes the map. There's, like, sometimes there's just maps that even though they're theoretically bad for your race, you like them.
Yeah. Alright, well, we'll get this on the go and kick this off. So we have ourselves the GLHF and ready, starting up here. Let me get this underway. Leyline's going to be our map as we load into this. So yeah, should be a better map for Skillous. Maybe get into a fun macro game here between these two as I kick this off into the ley lines. Top right hand corner will be our blue Terran player who does take the 1-0 lead. This is Clem.
And his opponent in the bottom left, the slight underdog in this matchup, it is Skillous. I think if Clem wins, by the way, these are the 4 current best players in the top 4. We will have Maxpax, Hero, Clem, and Serral. Masters Colosseum had the 3 best players, I think, in the top 3.
Yep.
Serral, Hero, and Maxpax, but Clem, obviously, he lost due to map score, because he lost with his Protoss against Spirit. And then his map score was the same as Spirit, so he lost it due to the direct comparison with him. But yeah, that didn't happen here. I think this one was also GSL style group, so it couldn't happen. I don't like round robin 4-man groups too much in general because this type of stuff happens a little bit too often.
Yep. Oh, just don't get me started.
But yeah.
I also don't like 4-player round robin groups. Especially not in any bigger, more serious tournament, like a couple of online things, fine, but for something like Master Colosseum, it should have never been.
Yeah, I agree.
Round robin. So yeah, no, I'm with you. But yeah, I think also, yeah, if Clem advances, it's very hard to disagree with, you know. Serral, Clem, Maxpax, and Hero, they are extremely consistent right now. They are very good. And they consistently put up great matches against each other, so it's really cool to see Hero just be having a bit more consistency to him as well. I feel like this is something we've not had from Hero for a while, but I really do think he's found consistency lately, so happy to see that.
Yeah, I loved it as well. You could really see he prepared a lot for EWC, and then he barely didn't make it out in the first day. He lost 2-3, or not in the first day, but you know, from the initial bracket. He lost 2-3 to Serral, but he beat Reynor, he beat Solar 3-0. And then he made it through all the way through the knockout bracket, which usually, even though I think Kiro is one of the favorites always to win a tournament, I didn't think he would be the one to make it out through the knockout bracket, because you would think that he also is the person that can also lose to weaker players. But he just learned to play standard. He played the same stuff every game, but just really well. More Maxpax-esque almost, or similar to stats or something. While still obviously staying true to his own chaos side, where he makes things messy and he embraces the chaos, but with a much more standard and much more solid approach.
Reaper is able to nab at the probe. Skillous is showing us once again that Twilight Council opener. I'm into the second barracks quickly this game, so mix up from him, no starport, going to be Cyclone Marine, and then having that second barracks obviously gives you a little bit of a faster push towards bio play, and that's something that Skillous kind of needs to figure out, otherwise you can get into some trouble very quickly.
Okay, cancels that shade. And also has a stalker on the high ground to deny the scouting from Clem. Almost walked away there in the wrong second.
Will chase. Just force this Reaper back a little bit. I see Barracks 3 now on the way from Clem. So again, very biocentric style from him. As the siege tank starts off the factory, and Skillous just goes Robo Facility to follow up the blink.
Yeah, it's good for Skillous that he's going for at least 3 gate here, because Clem opted for a relatively aggressive opener. Is it a full wall? So he's going to cancel the bottom gateway there, or what?
Looks like it is. There's another gateway behind this as well. So we're now adding 3 gateways. That's going to be good, taking us all the way up to the 4 gate if you don't cancel one. There we go, cancel one. Makes sense. Just really didn't want anything to get in.
Yeah, he didn't have any scouting, so he didn't know if it was multi-Reaper or Hellions showing up, I suppose.
Do you have our Stalkers just going to come across? Reaper gets chased away a little bit. The Stalkers head straight to the upper right-hand side again. Impact and Combat Shield building from Clem. And as these few Stalkers going to be starting to chase the Cyclone. Obviously no blink just yet. And Clem's Reaper having a full scout through the base. So he gets a full scout. He's going to be completely aware of everything. Even going to try and get a probe. Grenade is not good enough to get that grab, but not the end of the world. He has good defensively placed tanks, and these first Stalkers should not be able to find too much.
That's just an observer as well. No Warp Prism even started. Skillous going straight away into charge, which should be good against the push that Clem has in store for us. I wonder when Clem is gonna move out. It's definitely gonna be a move out without Medivacs, but we'll see when he actually ends up moving out with the tanks.
Yep, and just have the Cyclone locking on. Stalker's gonna get chased the other way against Impact and Combat Shield both coming through for the moment. As you have the charge building from Skillous, so the charge is coming up, the extra gates are building through, the Nexus on the third base. You just have the few Stalkers going to step forward towards the front as our Cyclone locks onto the Stalkers. Just going to start pushing straight on through. Bio coming after the Stalkers right now. And the tanks look as though they might get into position here.
Yeah, that was not enough shots for Skillous from the Stalkers. Forces a siege up. There's no... Is there a scan right now?
No.
I feel like he should have...
Probably scan.
He should have kept engaging there, no?
Yeah, until...
There's no high ground vision.
Yeah, until Clem shows the ability to actually shoot up. Was maybe a little bit too cautious. Maybe just assuming it, but assumptions don't get you very far. Spreads another tank out. The Stalker's going to come in from the back side. A couple of Marauders here could actually do very well against those Stalkers with some siege tank help, and that's exactly what happens. So this becomes mishandled from Skillous, who's attacking in without charge. So Zealots are going down before they even have much of a chance. The third base already beginning to drop. I mean, these Stalkers are putting up some reinforcements, but at a heavy cost. Those Stalkers have been dropping in numbers, and Clem successfully gets rid of the third base. That's a huge win, and the siege tank even gets rid of the Stalker as well. So yes, you lose a tank, but you got rid of all those Stalkers trying to counter.
Yeah. There's still no medivacs here, so the staying power of Clem's army is not the biggest, but he's trading it out quite decently.
Yeah.
And I mean quite easily is an understatement, yeah.
Yeah, winning the fight is pretty great. Fire coming back through Observer. Gets taken out as well. Clem just winning. At this stage of the game, this is a similar stage to how he won in the last game. Obviously, it was a bit of a different build and everything, but just off the tank push, getting into a great spot, and expanding that throughout. Firepulse all the way back. The Observer will keep an eye out overhead. And the Temple Archives Nexus probes coming through. Skillous just gotta try and get back on track here. Not exactly great, though.
I really think he should have kept fighting there. When he force fielded the units towards the bottom, even if there is a scan, you can still blink back. Like, you can just keep engaging with the Stalkers. The tanks were close enough that he could have gotten one tank, I think, at the very least, even if there was a scan. I think that was a missed opportunity. Obviously, easy for us to see. But, yeah, as you said, I think he should have taken his chances there.
This nation, keep an eye on things as the Storm comes up from Skillous, so... I mean, with Storm, there's always a bit of comeback potential. But, single Marine does the high tempo auto attacks. Yeah, with Storm, there's always going to be some comeback potential. It's going to be tough, because you're going to have tanks that can zone the high tempos from hitting good Storms as well. Skillous, we'll see Clem already starting to advance across the map, so we'll see what happens.
Yep, the War Prism is out as well for the Side Templars. So he's sharking in the map, in the middle of the map already. He's trying to flank with the 2 High Templars, but the Storm is not done yet, so... I don't know. He needs to buy time somehow. Doesn't really have much though to buy time. He also already used the energy recharge on the High Templar, which means he can't force field down Clem's army this time around. What is this War Prism doing? You're a little bit mistimed. Yeah. 5 seconds to Storm, it's done soon.
Yeah, Storm needs to carry its weight right now as... I mean, this Nex is already in some trouble. Zelda's going to go big towards the siege tanks, and Clem's going to pull back to protect the tanks a little bit. This is where the Storm could come in and land. First Storm comes down, Clem already split in second, third Storms. Okay, that's not good enough because Clem is so far ahead. That Storm is probably the best of them all. He cleaned up all the siege tanks here. I mean, Clem may not be able to keep pushing forward. Let's see what he decides, as he only has 2 medevacs. One of them is very low, both of them low energy. Any stim right now is fairly costly. The big factor is there's just no Storms available, right? The new High Templars are fresh. There's not been an energy overcharge on them. Maybe an energy overcharge would be very worthwhile at the moment, as the Widow Mines will clean up the Zealots. And do you have the Prism? Gotta be careful how far forward that flies.
He used the energy recharge right there on that High Templar, so should have 2 Storms. Both Storms are used up, and now he really is out of Storm for the next 40 seconds. Yeah. This is just not enough units to go in. Maybe if he hadn't done the run-by with the Zealots, he could have won this fight. But without those Zealots, for sure he can't.
Clem's just going to make a play for the 3rd base. He's going to get it. Obviously, can evacuate with medevacs and choose where he goes to. Doesn't even lose that one as Skillous blinks after, which now means the attack in the main base is going to be substantial. Stalker's not maybe the best warpins against this Bioforce. I appreciate you need something that's going to do damage. I mean, the Storm comes in as well. And none of this really feels great for Skillous, who, yes, is getting some SCVs on the other side of the map, but is obviously losing substantial numbers of probes as we go.
Yep, good stuff from Clem. Skillous had a 4th base up. If he maybe could have cleared this up cleanly, there might have been a chance, but now he's a 3-base Protoss against a 3-base Tyrant. He's down in economy. He's down in upgrades. He's pretty much down in everything.
Isn't moving about. So just have it coming across. The medevac setting up as well. Engineering Bay, Armory, Ghosts, and Marines continue to build on through as a couple of Zealots will warp in from Skillous. So just going to warp through the bottom side. Prism stepping up. The Bio is going to take a step forward as we see a couple of Stalkers beginning to unload. Bio actually going to go for the Prism, and Skillous just wasn't expecting Clem to dive like that. And so there goes the Prism. Only had 1 Templar inside, but still less mobility now with that Prism gone.
That was a juicy Storm. Needs about 10 more of those.
Yeah, it really does. As the drop in the main base is going to find some value as well. A couple of EMPs coming down. Immortal and the Archon trying to hold on, but Clem, who's controlled this game from the very get-go, is going to load up a 2-0 lead now in this series. Clem's pretty good.
Clem is pretty good.
Not much to add to it, and Clem is pretty good. He is playing very well.
If the Stalkers attacked from the high grounds, can the tanks shoot back without high ground vision? Not at all, right? Because I know with air units sometimes, if they're on a high ground and the air units start shooting, then you get the vision of them.
I don't think so, no, because there's absolutely times where you get stuck behind a force field and you just get shot at from atop the force field and you can't shoot back. There's no way, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Because yeah, that was a moment where Skillous could have gotten rid of a few more units. And if you got rid of a few more units, maybe at some point the hold becomes possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you see what's shooting you, but you don't shoot back. Exactly.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I think he would have straight up killed the push there. Because Clem just pressed the siege up button when he lost vision, so the tanks were stuck there. And there's legit nothing he could have done. He had no air units, he had no way to get high ground vision. I think he would have lost almost everything, because Skillous was super stalker heavy, which is obviously bad if he's forced to take the straight up fight. But for this specific scenario, it was super good. So yeah, I would love to see how it plays out if he just stays there and engages.
Eldorado coming through for map number 3. As we'll see if Skillous can get a point on the scoreboard. It's obviously not been great for him so far. Not been ideal. Let's see if we can get back on track. I feel like difficult. Pull yourself out of a 0-2 hole against Clem. Feels pretty rough.
It is pretty rough, especially because you play against this person so often and your results are obviously quite bad. Even if you get into a positive mental state against him, there's this thing, I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but let's say you're feeling confident, you feel good about your preparation, you feel like you will have a chance, and you need to think that way if you want to have a chance at winning. The moment things start going wrong, you will feel like, oh, this is happening again. Exactly like it's happened so many times. This guy is just really good. It's very difficult to even stay in a mental state of positivity and confidence when you start up your series like that against someone that also historically beats you a lot. Like I have this as well when I play against Clem. I go into a series, I am confident. The first Hellion run by kills 10 workers and I'm already all of a sudden in a completely different mood.
Yeah. It's tough to draw out of as the Rax gas comes in. And Skillous gets the gateway and the simulator going. Do you think Skillous steers away from Blink at all?
I mean, this is the map for Stargate, but I don't see him playing very differently. But I don't think he's gonna go Storm again. I asked him recently what he thinks about the PvT balance, and he thinks Blink is very strong. Like early mid game aggression is quite strong. On this map, the aggression is not that strong though. So if I had to make a prediction, I would say defensive Blink style.
Well, just got the SCV chasing the probe around for a little bit, so a little bit of venturing there. You have our Cybercore Nexus coming through, the probe on the way, and the SCVs will try and get the command center down. Well, minerals delay, nothing too much though. But yeah, push back the other direction.
Yeah, he started denying too early, because you only have the minerals here 2 or 3 seconds later than on the other maps, since you have a completely vertical mineral line, which means that you don't have that many mineral patches that are close to the CC, so you're legit 2 seconds behind at that point already.
Probe just on the watchtower. The factory coming through, CC coming up.
That is kind of cute. If Clem has the Giga Brain, I think probably the thing you should do as first thing with the Reaper is a move towards the bottom to see if it just goes against the wall.
Yep.
Since if it's not opened up, the Reaper will just go to a straight path and then get stuck there. But if it goes towards that mineral line, you will know that it's open. This is something that I did every single game on El Sayoni, just in case I got proxied. I didn't get proxied down there once.
But you did
it not a single time. I did it every single game from the the moment it was introduced.
I like the commitment. Smart as well. There's the SCV. Wonders about what accounts are going to come online here from Skillous, and the Reaper gets shoved away. Hellion on the way from Clem is just have the Adept currently sitting in the back of the natural, and we'll wait for an extra unit to obviously push that back and to clean this up.
This Adept needs to get out. I think that shade was bad. Okay, he's trying to run. Let's see if he can get out. Once those Marines connect with Adept, it's gonna lose more HP. Clem didn't quite micro that perfectly, but I think
Yeah.
it might have escaped anyways. Oh, never mind, the Reaper.
Oh. Yeah, Reaper gonna get the kill. I was with you. I actually thought the Marines could have gotten to the Adept a lot more quickly. The Hellion really kind of body blocked those Marines multiple times over, so... Yeah, bit of a mistake on that one. We just have our... well, Blink about halfway done. Robo Facility and Gateway coming about. And we do see the Reaper gonna come back up here again. Grenade to try and get through the Reaper. He's gonna get to the high ground. The Stalker will chase. Will not get the final shot before Clem gets to just go double check everything in the main base. So just, again, doing a great job of guaranteeing himself some scouting information as that Reaper goes down. And still sees that Blink is very much so just still being built.
Yeah, that's bad for Skillous. The one thing that's really good for him is that he has the probe. Which, I'm not sure, maybe he's even gonna put a pylon at the bottom and then go back to the watchtower, and then he basically has vision of the entire drop path towards his base. Yeah, he does exactly that. A very cool stuff from Skillous with the probe in the middle of the map. He is even going for a War Prism, which I haven't seen anyone play aggressive Blink War Prism styles on this map. Maybe that's just for a little bit of harass, like light harass.
Yeah, we do have that Prism is about to finish up here from Skillous, so that can come through the bottom side. Stimpack building, Siege Tank, Marine Marauder coming about as well. It's going to see the Stalker ready to lift back up into the Prism, and this is where Skillous can go across the map and apply some attempted pressure.
Yeah, one thing that's cool about what Skillous is doing here is that it's unexpected. And because of that, Terrans don't usually have stuff in the main base, because it's too far to jump in. So I like that he's going straight away with the Prism, no second prong or something. But yeah, Clem being Clem, he already has a tank there as well.
Yeah, so he's prepared. He's going to protect his barracks and his tech labs. As the Stalkers can drop in, instantly units in position, as you mentioned, and yeah, cool idea from Skillous, just got shut down as Clem is going to make sure he's prepared for absolutely anything and everything as the Raven comes down the left. Drop some auto turrets here.
Yeah, first auto turret goes into the natural, and this is an annoying position for the Raven to be in anyways, because it can access 3 different bases at once.
Yeah.
Skill is not being clean there with the pullaways. 6 probes going down. There is quite a bit for that Raven, and he's actually behind now in workers because he wasn't also constantly building probes. So I think Clem taking an economic lead here without really much of anything happening. Really just this one Raven.
Yeah. Raven just showing up. I mean, too many probes for the first. Like, you lose 6 auto turrets over 5 minutes or so, sure. Or so, lose 6 probes over 5 minutes, sure. Losing 6 to the first auto turrets is pretty difficult to justify, and I mean, it's just expensive. You know, when you're playing someone like Clem, he's going to take hold of every advantage you get. You can't just go giving him an eco advantage for no reason.
Yep, there goes the next auto turret. Let's hope he pays attention. Okay, good pull away, gets 1, but the next probes are running towards the auto turret. No, Skillous. Okay, 2 is still not the worst. He also has good observer placements. He has good map vision, so it should be hard for Clem to move out. But so yeah, we'll see how Clem even tries to move out. That direct move out towards the other side of the map shouldn't be the easiest, because the Stalkers can start poking away at these units, and then maybe he tries to go for a double drop that will just simply get spotted.
Well, the Medevac's going to load up, and like you say, I think going to get spotted because the Prism is right there. Actually going to unload straight away. Oh, he's actually
flanking.
Yeah, he's actually just going to get through. So Skillous now has no idea those units are there. Clem gets those units out on the map, so he can do as he wishes with those. There's more chances for Skillous to see at least if Clem continues forward. There will be a... oh, well, the Stalker's going to get caught, so Clem can just stim on them. They just blinked away. 3, 4, all 5? All 5. Ouch.
That's a disaster. 30 supply lead now for Clem. Skillous starting off Storm. The amount of times we've seen Protoss play Storm from behind today is pretty sick.
I mean... it's, I guess one of the best things you can do at this point. I mean, you gotta try and hope for something, right? So... Storm will be the attempt, apparently.
I would like to see Storm from an even game, you know? To see how good it actually is, not just when the Protoss dead every time.
Yep, no, I'm with you. I'm with you, as the bio. Trying to move through the middle of the map, +2 attack, and Storm, Immortal as well. Just on the way up is Clem. Head straight to the left-hand side. X-Results moving about. I think it's going to be very difficult for Skillous to survive this first shove from Clem. Storm not ready yet. A lot of bio, tons of Widow Mines as well, going to make it very difficult for the Zealots. The fact that High Temple hasn't already dropped Storm may give Clem a bit of confidence to get forward here as well, although Storm is just about to finish up.
Yep. Well, this is hard to engage into. There's 2 tanks at the back. If you fully engage on top of them, there's a bunch of Widow Mines. That Storm was just not microed against, but apparently he doesn't need to.
Doesn't matter.
I think Clem was, yeah, he is taking care of some Zealot run by on his own side. That's just... It's good enough for Clem. He lost 13 SCVs, so I think he's gonna regroup once more and then really just go for it. Army supply 84 against 28 right now.
84 against 28. Yep, that's does not sound pretty, especially when you lost all your tech units there as well as Skillous, so it's like your 28 is also 11 Zealots.
Yeah.
Even worse, there's a couple of Zealots are still trying to cause some trouble, but as soon as Clem reinforces and pushes again, it's very likely that this one is going to be GG.
Yeah, Clem ain't no Gumiho.
Nope.
Because Gumiho, I mean, not even Gumiho is usually playing like that. I'm not used to seeing him being that passive.
Being so careful.
Either way, yeah, Clem going forward. Skillous has exactly 2 storms, but he has nothing to force Clem to stay in a blob.
Yeah.
Because Clem will just kite against the Zealots, he can pre-split, he has the Widow Mines.
My Templar going down.
Yeah. Good micro there from Clem.
Yeah, good split. Chases with a couple units onto the High Templar, deals with the Zealots. And Skillous is not going to have a way to stay in this game. This is going to be GG's as Clem takes the 3-0 victory. GG's.
GG's. Yeah, we had 3-3-1s. I think the favorite one all 4 series. But this was by far the most one-sided one. Sadly for Skillous.
Yeah, this really was one-sided as well. Just very convincing from Clem. Skillous never even really played much of his game. He was just constantly on the cusp of defeat already every game. And sets us up for a hell of a top 4. Maxpax, Serral, and Hero Clem. Of course, the lower bracket plays out as well. So tomorrow we start with Dark versus Reynor, then Gumiho versus Skillous, and then Maxpax versus Serral, then Hero versus Clem. It's going to be quite the day tomorrow as we continue through the lower and upper bracket.
Yeah, tomorrow's gonna be sick. You can also see Skillous play real games tomorrow against Gumiho, where I don't think he's gonna lose.
Yep.
Or fall behind at the very least, every single time in the early mid game or in the early game.
Yeah, should be
So,
a TVP.
Yeah. Should be a lot of good games. Also excited to see if Reynor plays Protoss.
Are you gonna cast tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, okay, we cast together again. Sounds good.
Sure.
Nice. Awesome. Then we'll be back tomorrow. I'll hang up and do my outro and stuff, and I'll shut down the chat stuff. But GG's, thanks for casting.
GG's, thanks for casting.
Tomorrow, mate.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching today. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, that's it for us. We'll be back tomorrow with more Liuli Cup. I appreciate you all tuning in, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're watching. Appreciate it. We had a bunch of views on YouTube today. YouTube average viewership is just going up and up lately, so it's amazing to see. When will I cast a Lima League? Yeah, great question. It's a very difficult question because there's obviously just Liuli Cup all week, but what I'm thinking is maybe we cast some Liuli League after Liuli Cup one day this week, because the last couple of days of Liuli Cup are just like 2 series. So like Friday, Saturday should be maybe an opportunity to do some Alima League, because I would like to cast some Alima League, because I saw the bracket and the bracket looked sick. I like looked at the bracket before it started, and it looked really, really good. Like really, really good. So yeah. I mean, I when I looked at the bracket, I was like, man, there could be a round of 8, which would be like potentially like Clem or Dark or Hero or like someone else or Rogue even, I think maybe. Like it was ridiculous actually. Like genuinely ridiculous, like what I saw. So I'd be very excited to cast some of those games. I'll ask Crank for the replay pack, maybe we can do it later this week. Would be good. I'll ask him for that now. Yeah, but not another day. It's a great bracket. Yeah, I'll see what matches we get in the replay pack. I'm not sure what they casted on the mainstream. That's the replays that we get. So, actually, no. Last time we got given everything. Cool. Alright, guys. Thank you so much for watching today. I appreciate you all tuning in. I'm gonna run a set of ads on the outro on YouTube and on Twitch. We'll be back live tomorrow. We actually will be this time. Last time I said this, we actually weren't because they moved the start of this tournament or the playoffs. But we'll be back live tomorrow with more games. Yeah, maybe Friday or Saturday we throw some Limo League in there and we do a bit of a longer stream. I'd be very down for that. But yes, anything else to say? Check out our sponsor, Royal Match, !Royal in the chat. If you sub today and I didn't get to you, I still really appreciate it. Obviously, I just co-cast and I don't do the sub shout-outs as much, even with the chat and stuff, so... Check out Royal Match, !Royal. We got another couple weeks of this, so... Someone hit level 1,000 a day, by the way, which is ridiculous. That's like... They literally have added like $80 to the stream, so thank you so much, whoever that was on that crazy... yeah, but check out Royal Match. Every few levels guarantees more money to the stream. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm going to run some ads on the outro. I'm going to send you guys away, and I will see you guys for more StarCraft 2 on tomorrow's stream. Perfect. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a great rest of your day. I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Appreciate the views, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye! Also, forgive in the background, you're going to hear some StarCraft music starting and stopping. I'm making a YouTube thumbnail, so just letting you guys know what's going on. You guys can listen to me make a YouTube thumbnail. How exciting is that? Amazing. Sure. Thank you so much for becoming a Royal Match number. June93, level 20 in Royal Match. Thank you. Wow, slowly hit level 20 in Royal Match earlier. And Uncle Hooper, you hit level 300. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.